All right, guys, welcome back to Il Blurmatic. Today we are back with the ongoing segment, The Consecrator Seat, with Aziza, the graphic novelist. Welcome to the actual interview, guys. Hope you stay around for a while. Hey, how's it going, Aziza?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yep. So we're gonna do questions and answers, and pretty much I ask the content creator different things dealing with content, whether it's their actual content or interest as well. So question one. So give me a sec. What early anime series or mature anime series you got into?
Early ones, I would say like early was like Voltron
Okay,
or
that's a good one. That's a
yeah,
good one.
Ronin Warriors was another one that I remember randomly seeing, Saturday morning cartoons.
Okay.
Uh, I loved it. That was from when I was like a kid. And then the older I got, you start seeing like Pokemon, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z.
All right. Yeah.
So those are
Yes.
probably like the early ones for me.
The early ones for me would be Dragon Ball. Well, Ronin Warriors too, I guess. I could throw that in
Yeah.
there. The other one was what was it? I would say Pokemon, Digimon, Yu Yu
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Hakusho. Huh?
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would say for mature, I kind of got busted for this one. Cowboy Bebop.
That's a classic.
Yeah,
Worth
it's a
it.
classic. Yeah. And then I would say Yu Yu Hakusho, and then Tenchi Muyo. Yeah.
I forgot about Tenchi. I was never a fan because I'm not
Okay.
really into like the romance stuff, but my
Okay.
cousin loved it. So yeah,
Oh, it's
the cartoon.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was like how can I put it? Johnny Bravo, but with with alien girls over having a romantic interest in this guy. Like, yeah, this is like Johnny Bravo but with in outer space.
Yeah. Tons of drama. Yeah, it's very romantic. Very.
Yeah.
It's a harem. It is. It's. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, for that. And then there's another one. I'm trying to remember. Trigun. Trigun. Yeah.
Ah, I
Yeah.
like Trigun. I haven't seen the new
Okay.
one, but the old one was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the old one was solid. Yeah, I heard the new one. A lot of people was telling me that the new one it's a
It's hit
little
or miss.
wonky. Like the
Yeah.
animation looks a little weird. If you can get past that, you may like it. But that's what I hear all the time. I'm like, oh, okay.
Did you
But people,
ever watch Slayers or Gundam Wing?
you know what? I was a late Gundam fan. I admit, I confess, Aziza, I was a late Gundam fan. I think the first Gundam series I saw, I would say Gundam Seed. Did you ever see Gundam Seed?
What was the theme or like the plot?
So these two best friends were Gundam pilots. One was a naturalist. One was I forgot what they called the other Gundam type. It was one was a real human. One was artificially made, and then they end up going against one another, but end up becoming back friends again. And then the one Gundam guy, Kira. Yeah, Kira and Azra. That's what it is. Kira and Azra. Kira was pretty much engaged to a princess. Azra was too. We found out later on that the girl that he was dating was a princess. So I'm like, oh, like what's what's up with this? So it had like a romance theme to it, but it had action in it. But I guess you could say it's a bit slept on because there are better Gundam series. I did enjoy C though. C is probably one of my favorites. But yeah, Gundam C. I did get into G Mobile Gundam. It was kind of cheesy though. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
It was
horrible with. Is that the one with the different nationality? Which one is that one?
yeah, with the different nationalities, right? And then they powered up like Super Saiyans in the Gundam suits.
That was cheesy goodness, but it was very cheesy.
I was like, what Gundam's becoming Super Saiyan? Like, it's
Right.
turning gold. I'm like, what the like
But it was
what's
kind
about
of nice to see them moving into Gundam. So there were parts that I was like, okay, I can kind of get with this. But yeah, it was definitely a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. I was like, what is this like Dragon Ball Z meets Gundam?
Pretty much. They saw it while Dragon Ball Z did. They're like, we're gonna add that.
Yeah, I did see the other series you're talking about, but that wasn't until years later. But I got into Gundam Mobile Zero Zero, which is really good, and Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans. Have you seen those?
That the last one doesn't even sound familiar.
What? Oh, that one's
Yeah,
good. That one's really good. Like the ending kind of surprised me how it ended
yeah.
because one of the characters that's the main character kind of dies, and it's like, what?
Man,
Yeah, it threw me for a loop because I'm thinking like, oh, he gonna live again. You know what I'm saying? He gonna be the main character.
that
All
plot
that.
armor. That plot armor.
Yeah, I was just surprised by it. I was like, wow. And then Mobile Zero Zero, it came out in the 2000s. But I don't know why I didn't see. I don't think Tsunami promoted that enough because it was apparently it was on Tsunami. I'm like, I don't remember seeing this.
Yeah, I'd have to see if I can find pictures and figure out if it rings any bells. But there are a couple of shows I feel like that were on Toonami that just went under the radar. Like the newer Thundercat one was amazing,
Yeah,
and I feel
yeah,
like you never heard about it and it died, and I was so sad.
yeah. I seen like maybe the first 4 or 5 episodes of it, and then I wonder what happened to it. Like, hey, I was just getting into it. Like, what
Canceled it. Gorgeous
happened?
animation too. I thought, man, oh well.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So Tsunami, I guess they say, oh, we ain't getting no viewings. We cutting y'all. I gotta go. Yeah. So those are some good ones. Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't seen Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans. I think that's a really good series because it's a little bit different from the other series. It does deal with Gundam pilots and everything, but these are like kids. Like these are not like yeah. So it's like, ooh, you know. But yeah, the ending did surprise me. Had a dope plot twist, by the way, too.
I'll have to
Yeah.
check it out. I've been getting back into the anime. I feel like well, what
Yeah.
happened actually, my PS4 had died. And that's
Mine
wrong.
did too.
I swear it was like, we need you to buy the PS5. We're just gonna kill this. And they got me. I got a PS5. Um,
Oh man.
but yeah, I was logged out of my Crunchyroll account and I could not get back in. And I feel like the vast majority of my anime I watch through that now. So I
Okay.
started watching a bit through Hulu and a bit through Netflix, but I finally got back in and I started looking at all my series and everything's been updated. I'm like, I'm behind.
You're like, I'm so behind. Like, what happened?
Right? Took too long.
Oh man. Yeah. So that was the first question. Give me a sec, and I'm gonna go to the second one. So the second one is, what are your top video game movies slash shows?
So I actually wrote this one out so I wouldn't forget.
Okay, it's all good.
So for video games, I'm a huge RPGer. I love, great stories, great characters. So it was
Okay,
the original Final Fantasy VII,
okay, okay.
Xenogears. Are you familiar with that one?
I've heard of Xenogears. I've never played it, but I've heard of it.
Absolutely amazing.
Okay.
Deserves a remakes, really surprise or a reboot. What do you call it? A remaster. Deserves a
Remaster. Okay.
remaster, and they haven't done it, which is surprising.
Okay.
Um, it's funny because that's very gear oriented, and I think that's what kind of got me into like the Gundam Wing stuff because you get to jump in a gear and fight, or you can jump out of it, and your humans are ridiculous. Like they fight so well, but
Okay.
great story, very long game, but truly like one of a kind if you ever get a chance to play it.
Okay.
Um, I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan. You're on my social.
Yeah, I see. I kind of
I
figured. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that one. I just put the whole series on there. I think there's only one game I played that I wasn't a huge fan of, but they're all good to me. So,
Okay.
and then, are you a Persona fan?
I've never played the game. I did see the anime, but I've never played the game. Hmm.
So, Persona 5, like the original one that came out forever and a day ago, and not Persona 5,
Okay.
Persona 3 is one of my favorite ones, but Persona 5 Royal that came out a bit more recently is also like right there. Like I had to put them on the same line. I couldn't rank.
Right. Yeah.
And then Fire Emblem Three Houses is also one of
Okay.
my top ones. It's a tactical game and it's funny
It
because it was
is.
when it came out, it was so hyped up and I was like, oh, people are probably just hyping it up. I started playing it before I knew. It was one of those days like you sit down at 4 thinking, okay, I'll play this for a couple hours. And before you know it's like the next day and I was like, oh, so this is clearly my new favorite game. Like
Okay. Oh, so okay, that's what's up. Yeah, I went. Speaking of, let me go back to this Persona. I actually went to a panel for it. Like they were talking about the things behind the game and everything. I thought that was cool. I go to YumaCon. Sometimes I go to these panels. I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. Like they're breaking down the different characters, the meanings behind things, and I was like, wow, this is cool.
that's one of the probably the things that I love most about Persona is that each game kind of has like its own theme, and they do a
Yeah,
really good job at like
yeah,
writing to that theme and having characters and stories that really kind of engage you. So
right.
I would recommend Persona 5 Royal easily. And
Okay,
Persona 3 Reloaded. If you've never played the original, I've heard that people have loved Reloaded. I
okay,
played the original, so it's a little bit harder for me to enjoy the new one, but it's still well done. I just know what
okay.
needs to be there, so you know you're like, wait, that's different.
All right. Yeah. So anything else or
Well, do you want to do your top 5 video games, and then we can do movies or shows?
okay, so for top video games, I would say well Pokemon would be one of mine. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean I've been playing Pokemon since I was 7, so it's like you know what I'm saying? I mean the story, I guess depending on the games, you know what I'm saying, some stories were better than others. Just the character building with the different Pokemon and stuff was really cool. Another game I would have to say is God of War. God of War is really good.
Oh, a specific one, or do you like the whole series?
Majority of the whole series, I haven't really, you know, even the ones that people didn't feel were great, I really enjoyed the God of War series. Like, I mean, even the newer ones were really good. Ragnarok, and then the one before that. But God of War, that was just one game that I just, man, one of
I
the
played the
first.
first two, and no, I played
Yeah.
all three, and they are
Okay.
stellar. Yeah, and
Yeah.
the
Just
new ones
the
are crazy to me
yeah.
because Kratos has grown with its audience, and so to
Right.
see him as a dad was like, I love this more and more.
Yeah. So yeah, God of War for sure. Like I said, the series is just solid. Just the different abilities and just the combat. Another game for me would probably be Super Smash Brothers. That's one of my favorite crossover battle games that people, you know, fight and stuff, and it gets crazier each game. It started off small, now you got this big roster of characters, and then you got from Pikachu, Star Fox, Link, Zelda, you know what I'm saying, Ganondorf, Captain Falcon. It's like you know, you can't you know, you don't have that many games like that. I think the other game that's on a similar scale to that, unfortunately, they're trying to bring it back. Is I don't know if you heard of it, Warner Brothers Multiverse. Have you played that?
I remember seeing it, and I thought, did they just kill it, or are they about to try to bring it? I keep on. I think I've heard brief
Well,
news
they,
about
they they signed a petition trying to save the game. It's still out right now. You just can't really buy anything, which kind of sucks. Like if you wanted to
it.
buy characters, but it's really dope. It's like a smash. It's on a similar level to a Smash Brothers. You can play with Samurai Jack, Powerpuff Girls, Aquaman, Superman,
Scooby Doo,
Batman.
or Scooby Doo in that one? Or am I thinking of
Yep,
another?
Scooby Doo,
Okay.
Shaggy, Velma. Who else? Iron Giants, Jason. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's pretty much Warner Brothers version of it. Martian Manhunter. Who else is in it? It's a lot of characters. A lot of characters.
Because they
The
owned
character,
a
the
ton of
character from
characters. So.
yeah, yeah, and then the chick from Game of Thrones is in it. So it's a solid game.
Is it just not make it? Was it not making them enough money? Is that why they're trying to?
I think because they only released it digitally, and I kind of hate that they did it that way. I wish they would have did like a physical release where it'd been like on the Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. With them only releasing it digitally, it's like, do people really want to waste their time downloading it? You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
it's
and it's
like
such a competitive area now with like Marvel Rivals and all of the. Well, that's different. It's a fighting
it's
game.
different,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah. So it's like, man, but yeah, Smash Brothers. I'm looking forward to the next one. I know that's coming out on the Switch too. They already confirmed we're getting a new Smash Brothers. I'm looking forward to it. Big roster of fighters. I'm like, yo, let's go. Another game I would say that kind of grew on me. It was one of my first early games besides Pokemon, Kirby. The last couple Kirby games have been the hardest games ever.
Really?
Yeah, they're fun, but the last two,
Because the last, there was the one that was what, the Lost Land, where you were like eating the construction, like you could become a
yeah,
cone, for instance.
you can become a cone, you can become a fan, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Car Kirby, he riding.
drive.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, that one was pretty hard. Like the last boss, the story was very interesting. It reminded me of Zelda in a way because it's like you're when you start off in the game, you're like on the shore where the beach is at and everything, the water. I'm like, I'm like, wait a minute, did they take Zelda's story and say, yo, we're gonna include this into the Kirby game?
They got to start building you when you're younger. Oh wait,
Right,
go through the
right, but
pipeline. Yeah.
yeah, but the combination abilities with that game was fun. The story was interesting. The ending, the very last boss, it took me quite a while to beat. It took me about maybe 15, 17 times. He was hard.
Ooh,
He was
I don't think
hard.
I realized. I watched someone's playthrough of it, and
Yeah.
yeah, the ending was, it caught me off guard. It was a good ending, but there were feels,
Yeah.
and I was like, in a Kirby game, what? But I don't think I
it,
realized the boss battle was that difficult.
yeah, it was. It took me a while to kind of time my attacks, and then you got a button mash. So it's a combination of different things. And then Kirby Return of Dreamland. That was hard too. The last boss, it was a tree boss. So he's a tree, and you got to make sure the roots ain't coming at you this way, or he coming to get you this way. I was like, oh my god.
Interesting. I have to check that other one out. I don't think I've seen a playthrough or heard of that one.
Yeah,
That's a
Return of
newer one.
Dreamland. Yeah, it was originally on one of the other Nintendo consoles. I never got a chance to play it, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Yep. So I was like, yeah. The other game I would have to say that's another favorite, Donkey Kong. Yeah,
Mentioned
Donkey
that
Kong.
earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been playing Donkey Kong way back. Like I had a lot of the Game Boy games that they had for it. Donkey Kong with Diddy Kong, Diddy Kong. I had about maybe 4 or 5 of those games. I had Donkey Kong 64, then I got Tropical Freeze, and I got the Donkey Kong Country Returns.
I don't think I
Yeah.
realized there were so many games. Cause so when you were a kid, were you a Nintendo kid?
Yep.
See,
Yep.
I was a Sega kid. Sega and PlayStation. So when I went to go visit
uh,
my friends, I could play those games, but
Uh,
otherwise,
that, yeah, that's how it was when I would go over my mom's best friend house because she had 3 sons. So I got a chance to play the PlayStation and Sega Genesis and the Sega Saturn over there and a PlayStation because at the time I didn't have a PlayStation. So I'm like, well, when I go over there, I know I'm gonna play these games. That's how I got into Sonic, by the way.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
because yeah, it's a Sega. Well, now it's Nintendo, which is sometimes weird for my brain
yeah,
to wrap around. But yeah, that
yeah.
was a Genesis
So
title forever.
yeah, I think the only Sega console I had was a Dreamcast.
I feel like the Dreamcast needs to make a comeback. It was, I think it was ahead of its time. I genuinely feel that way. I loved the
Yeah, it
Dreamcast.
was. Yeah, Dreamcast. And years ago they talked about doing a Dreamcast too. Did you hear about that?
No. A part of me wonders if Nintendo will start taking in some of their ideas and just making it part of the Nintendo now. Like if Sega would just drop the whole console war and just focus on games. But yeah, I my cousin had the Dreamcast and a guy I dated did too. And I remember the little cartridge you could take.
Yep.
It's like, this is amazing. Like this keeps you attached to your game literally all day because you're trying to feed your chow or whatever is in
Right.
there. And so
Yeah.
it's crazy now looking back to think that it didn't make it because it didn't. It ended up dying what, for after 5 or 6 years. It didn't last very long
Yeah. It didn't
whatsoever.
last very long. Yeah.
But it deserved a much better life cycle.
Right. It did. All right. So you want to go with the movies and TV shows?
So TV shows, my all-time favorite show is Black Butler. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but
Oh,
it's
I was talking about for the gaming.
Oh, ask your question again. Maybe I'm not.
So for that one, I was just talking about for like gaming, your top gaming movies and TV shows,
Oh,
like your
video
top
game.
five.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that makes it a lot harder. So real
Okay.
talk, old school,
All right.
old school Street Fighter.
That's a good one. That's a
It's an
good one.
amazing, amazing movie. Trying to
Talking
think
about
of
the
his.
first one or the second one?
I don't know if I don't think I've only seen the first one with Jean Claude Van Damme in
Oh,
it.
the
Like
first. Yeah. That. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
that was
It
a
was
good one.
cheesy, but it was enjoyable.
The other, I'm trying to think what other ones I really love. Due to your recommendation, I'd heard a lot of good things about it, but due to your recommendation, Fallout was
Yeah.
impressive. I was so taken aback by how good it was. Uh,
Yeah.
I think it was one of those ones I was like, I'm gonna fold laundry and watch this before I knew no laundry was being folded. So
Right.
yeah, that was a really good series.
Yeah, it
Um,
was.
trying to think what else.
Okay.
What other live action or movies that have been adapted?
It could be animated too. It ain't got to be live adaptation either. It could be animated as well.
Well, you go and do some of yours. I gotta rethink.
Okay. So for mine, I would say Street Fighters 2. Since you already said one, I gotta give two. The animated one, ooh, that one was real good.
I did watch the animated one. Now that you say it, because there's like this, the most famous scene I feel like is the fight between Chun Li and Vega.
Vega,
That,
yep.
yes, goaded, goaded movie.
And then when Ken and Ryu fought Bison at the end, that was crazy too.
That was a good one. Gosh, I watched that movie a million times.
Yeah, I've seen it quite a bit. Yeah, definitely. My next one, if it had to be like another movie, this one I think came out in the '90s. Have you seen Tekken? The Tekken movie that came out in the '90s?
I never saw the Tekken movie. I think I remember seeing it advertised. I don't think I ever watched it. Yeah.
What? Wow. Um, I don't know. You might be able to find it on. Let me see. Just taking a good guess. maybe Tubi, maybe Pluto. You might
Okay.
find it.
Some of the older
Um,
ones that would have
yeah, but
that.
it's really good though. It could have been a bit longer. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like it was kind of short, but it was good though. It was good for what it was. But I will give an honorable mention. The animated series the animated series that's on Netflix, the second series, is far better.
Really? That's good to know. I'll have to check that
Yeah,
out.
yeah, it's really good. I was like, man, like this better than it. And like even the fighting movements and stuff, they really put some thought into. It. I'm like, dang, really felt like Tekken when I was watching the series. I'm like, yo, this is really cool.
That's awesome. Any,
Another one I would have to say one of my favorite fighting games. One of the first fighting games I got for Super Nintendo. I don't know how my mom was like, "Yo, you gonna play this?" Mortal Kombat Legends. Have you the animated movies? Man, each one has been good. I'm not gonna lie.
really?
Mm-hmm.
And those are, where do those stream?
I want to say Max. Yeah,
Okay.
Max. Yeah, Max has them on there. Really good. Scorpions first movie was good. The second one was good with Sub Zero. The third one was good. The third one got to play that was around Mortal Kombat 11 storyline, and
Okay.
then you had the fourth one with Johnny Cage, like introduction to his character and everything. Really good. And the good thing is they're coming out with a Mortal Kombat Legends 5 animated movie. I'm like, yes.
So are they going through like the whole roster and kind of giving each character a movie? Do you know, or is it kind of just
That's a good question. I know they talked about they may do another like you said with Johnny Cage, where it's his story, where they do another character. That may happen with the fifth movie. We just have to wait and see it when they drop a trailer for it. Yeah.
nice?
When it comes to TV shows, I would say Fallout is the one for sure. Fallout was really good. I never played the video game, but the show just I was invested. Like I actually binge watched that for a couple
Yeah.
days.
It was
It was
really. they did a good job with the characters and the story because I think it was smart that they focused on multiple main characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the multiple main characters were because you saw like different angles of the story and what took place, especially the one guy that had his face was all messed up real bad.
Yeah.
You're like, why is he this way? And then you see his story, like, oh, now it made sense.
Yeah.
Even the ending was really good. The ending, I was like, I didn't want it to end. I was
Same.
like,
I was like, so it's the first, it's one of those moments where you finish and you like the next thing you do is you go to your phone, you're like season two. Like, when is that
right.
coming out? 'Cause I need it now.
Yeah, so I would say definitely Fallout for sure. Another one that surprised me, and I'm a fan of the franchise too, by the way, is Last of Us. Last of Us was really well thought of. The
They did
TV
a
series,
really good
like
job.
everything was pretty darn accurate. They made a couple changes here and there, but it was pretty accurate. I was like, yo, this is given. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a bit of a risk. I wish they would have got Hugh Jackman instead of Pedro Pascal to play Joel, because he looks more like Joel than me. I'm like, Hugh Jackman's got the Joel look, you know? I was like,
You know what? Now that you mention it with the beard, you're right. He
yeah,
does have a bit more of a Joel look. But I love
yeah,
Pedro, so I couldn't be upset.
yeah. I was like, what
That is,
happened? Yeah,
you might have been like, I'm good. I'm doing,
yeah, he might have been good, yeah.
yeah,
And then I think the girl that played Ellie, I felt like the girl that played Shadowcat from the earlier X-Men movies would have been such a great choice to play Ellie. But I know she had the whole sis change thing, so
yeah,
they probably was like, nah.
yeah. We're gonna let you do you, and then
Yeah.
yeah. And the girl that they picked was amazing. Yeah, they
Yeah, she
definitely
was.
brought the characters to life. So
Yeah. Yeah, Last of Us was definitely good. Like I said, the creature movements, how they looked, just the world. I was like, man, they really cooked with this show and they really put some money into it. I know season two is gonna be divided into 4 parts. Did you hear about that?
ooh, I have not, but I having been aware as a gamer, I'm aware of what the game does. So I'm nervous for season two. I had my sister. This is how you know a video game adaptation is amazing. My sister was crazy about the show, and I know a friend of mine is too. And they're neither one of them are gamers, and they start talking about certain things, and I'm like, just temper your expectations. I did not realize they're doing it in 4 parts, though. That's interesting. Yeah, Lost of
yeah,
Us was
because
pretty different.
in the second game, it doesn't just focus on Ellie and Joel; it focuses on
Right.
other characters too. So it's like you get a chance to see Abby's story, which is the villain for the second season, and kind of how her friends were. Her friends were pretty messed up, man. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very it's just different. I think because the first game you focused so much on like a father daughter bond with Joel and Ellie, and then you get to the
right?
second game and it's not that focus.
Yeah, it's not.
Like
Yeah,
they've
but
grown up, time has passed, and the world reflects that. And I liked to, but yeah, it was I'm nervous for season two.
yeah, I get it though why they're doing it because, like I said, it's focused on other characters throughout the
Yeah,
series. So it's like if they just focused on 2 characters like Abby and just what's name, like it would take away from them. Like, nah, y'all
yeah.
can't be doing that.
Well, that'll be
Uh,
exciting.
yeah, I would say for another TV series. Let me see, man. Trying to figure out. Okay, I said that. Hmm.
Have you have you watched or played Danganronpa?
I've heard of it but never played it. Yeah.
So the games I adore, mainly the first two. But I was
Right.
thinking about TV shows. They actually the first season was okay to me, but the second season of the anime is actually a really good adaptation because it adds a lot of context to the
Okay.
second game. So it's taking what's happened in the second game and giving you an alternate perspective. And it's
Okay.
one of my favorite animes in terms of like this is based off a video game and now they've changed it into an anime. But I think the reason why it does so well is because they didn't take it beat for beat and just make it into an anime. They
Right.
actually expanded the world. So that's one. If you haven't checked it out, I would recommend it.
Okay. I would say this is kind of old, but I mean, at the time it was pretty cool. The Donkey Kong TV show. I don't know if anybody remember that.
Not at all. I don't
It
remember that at
used to come
all.
on. It used to come on ABC Family. Yeah, it used to come on there.
Is it like one of those 90 animes, like how Zelda and Mario used to have one? Is it that
Well,
kind
it's
of?
3D. It's more like 3D animated.
Okay,
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I
that's
didn't realize they have had a
yeah.
show. I'm clearly lacking in the Donkey Kong.
It's all good. Another one I would have to say that's video game adaptation. Man, what is that one I was gonna say?
Sonic?
For like not for a TV show though. You
No.
know, trying to figure out. Man, okay, I said those three. I would say at the beginning. This is something I did enjoy at the beginning, but I enjoyed the game more. It was Pokemon at some point in time. I will say at the beginning stages of it, I'm like, okay, this is cool. But to me, the video games were a lot better.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I feel like the Pokemon, Digimon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! It's very interesting, like their anime versus like the actual games. I never
yeah.
played a Pokemon game, but I did really enjoy I enjoy Ash's saga. It went too long, but I
Okay.
feel like the way that they finally ended it was very heartwarming. And yeah, the beginning, I'll never forget first meeting Team Rocket and being like, I'm in.
Okay.
It's kind of weird, and I like it. So let's let's keep watching it. But
Yeah, I think for me it was this Ash personality, and then like his Pokemon had different personalities, and him doing these unorthodox things with his Pokemon, like they're learning moves that you ain't never seen, and you're like, how you know this move? Like I thought this was only a flying Pokemon type of move. Like,
you pick up the yeah, you pick up the deck later on. You're like, they can't do any of this.
yeah, yeah, you're just amazed by it. But yeah, it was a long running anime, and I was just like, man, after a while, it just to me the movies were better. I don't know. I think the Pokemon movies were better than the show.
I feel like because it's that compact story. You're right, because you
Yeah,
get in, you figure out whatever the mystery is, and it was really really good. Yeah,
yeah,
I loved
yeah.
second Pokemon movie is one of my favorite ones. I
Oh
remember my
yeah.
friends leaving and being like, "That was way better than it should have been."
Yeah, the movies were the first one was really good. There was people crying in the theater seeing that
Right,
movie.
but I was a little again. Stop giving me the feels. Like a kid. But no, you're right. It was
Yeah,
a serious movie. It was a good movie.
yeah. Yeah, I was like, I wonder why Pokemon never went that route. I feel like Digimon did a little bit more with it. It's like more serious tone. Pokemon was
Always.
like, okay, we gonna touch on it here and there with our movies, but not necessarily our show.
I always felt like Pokemon was for like 11 and under, and Digimon was for like 12 and up. Like Digimon always
mm,
felt a bit more teen to
mm,
me than Pokemon. And so,
mm. That's
yeah,
a good way to look at
yeah,
it. I'm not gonna
because
lie.
I kind
That's
of
a
grew
good.
out of Pokemon and went to Digimon. And every once in a while, I still go back and watch Pokemon, but I could tell as a viewer, like I'm not as into it. And I thought of it
Okay.
like maybe it's because I'm getting older. So Digimon is definitely hitting me
Yeah.
where at the same age, and what the kids were dealing with in Digimon was ridiculous.
Yeah. Abuse, divorce, all types of crazy stuff.
Oh,
Dying and yeah.
so much. But that is
Yeah.
an older, the older you get, you start becoming more aware of those things. So, and it was
Yeah.
always interesting. Yeah, I think the second season of Digimon was fire. Like I still think back on it every once in a while with the whole like
Yeah.
Ken,
See. Yeah.
Ichijoji, and then like
Yeah.
yeah, just to
And
have
then
a good
and then
balance.
I would say season three probably was like my next favorite. Like if I had to choose between Digimon, seasons 1 through 4 were probably the best ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah, season three was dark too though. Remember when Leomon died? Oh
Yeah,
girl just went.
again, older, way too much happening, but so good.
I just, and the characters in season three, they were a little different from the previous Digidestin. I thought that was really cool. Like you had Henry. Henry had Terrier Mind. Terrier Mind's like this carefree, kind of like,
Right.
kitty, like Terrier Digimon, and then you got was it Takato that had the dinosaur, and then you had Rika. She's kind of like the Matt to the series, but just a woman, not or just a girl.
Right.
It was like whoa. And I would say another game. You know what? You're right. I would say Sonic. Sonic, the old Sonic. You know what I'm saying, when it came to TV shows back in the day where Jaleel White voiced Sonic, yeah. So
Yeah.
you're right. I just thought about it, I was
Well,
like, yes,
I was gonna say
yeah,
which one because you're talking about like the old school with Steve
yeah,
Urkel. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's the one that followed the comic, which was also very interesting. There's so many Sonic, yeah, TV
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah, there
But
are. You got Sonic X, then you got Sonic Underground. Well, I'm talking about like
the
when the
original,
Urkel, yeah, when he was doing it. I was like, yo,
yeah,
y'all thought it
even
was kind of
Sonic Boom was a.
yeah,
I
Sonic
enjoyed.
Boom.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like Sonic Boom.
then they got a new one that I watched with my cousin. I'm trying to think of the name of that, where it's like it's going into like these different alternate timelines, kind of like a Avengers.
Prime, Sonic
Dang,
Prime.
what's the name? Yes,
It's
you're
on
on
Netflix.
it. You're on it. I was
They did a
like,
good job on that one.
yeah,
I
that
was
was
like,
good.
this is good. Yeah, you're very much. You're right. Everyone's doing like the multiverse
Yeah,
thing now. But I was like, this one's interesting. I enjoy it.
it was. Yeah, I was just like, yo, I'm like, this is dope. Like,
Yeah.
went to another timeline. It was black and white. And then they went to this one timeline where it was like robots taking over. I was like, yo, this is crazy. And then they had the different versions of Dr. Robotnik as
Yes,
well. Yeah.
that was really that was funny. I enjoyed that a lot. And even the
Yeah.
different versions of the different characters. Like some of them I felt like could have gotten a bit more love. But
Yeah.
Amy
Yeah.
Rose, her variations were always like on point. I enjoyed their portrayals of her. And I love that the fandom I feel like has slowly began to like love her again
Yeah.
because she was
Yeah.
not a
She's
like
starting to become a popular Sonic character. Facts.
yeah, makes me happy. She deserves it.
Yeah, so that was a good one. All right, so the next question, this is a good one. Did you ever have cosplay malfunctions, or and what cosplays are you known for?
So a lot of my cosplays are like original characters,
Okay,
but I every once in a while I'll do like either a hybrid or a true like try to be accurate cosplay. And
okay,
it's kind of ironic that I wear this dress again. My one of the most ones I'm most famous for has to be Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z.
all right.
Yeah. Um I did not have a malfunction with that one, but it was funny trying to design it because as a fellow cosplayer, you understand you always have to have that moment where you're like, I have to take this off every once in a while to use the restroom.
Right.
So I remember having to like figure out how to like cut the bodysuit so that it stayed together, but then have it so that it stayed up, and it was interesting. But that one, there's a big convention here called Cincinnati Comic Expo,
Okay.
and my friend and I we showed up. We were gonna volunteer at a table, and we were like, oh, we're showing up 2 hours, we'll be fine. We were late every like 3 steps someone was stopping us and taking a picture, so that one was the one that like if people recognize me it tends to be from my Vegeta.
Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Have you seen Dragon Ball Diamond yet, or not really?
Oh, I knew you were gonna ask me and I was like
No, I'm just asking out of curiosity. You ain't got. Hey, look, I ain't asking no questions about. I just not yet.
not yet. I've seen
Okay,
bits and pieces and I'm excited for it.
okay.
um
I won't say nothing else about it
okay.
then.
I'm gonna come back
Yeah.
to you then once I start watching it and be like, okay, what was that comment from?
Okay. Yes, I'm enjoying it. I will say that I'm enjoying it. It reminds me of like two other series that Akira Toriyama has already done. One that wasn't necessarily a series, but it got approved by him. And then the other one was actually a series. So I'm like, you know what? It was like a nice combination of two different series that was turned into this series. And I was like, okay, this works. It is a surprise I seen recently, and I'm like, okay, this is what I wanted to see. I was like, whoa, okay.
Oh, so how many episodes is Daima now?
It's a total of 12 episodes right now. I think it's going to end at maybe 13 or 14, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I'm not super far. I gotta binge. I gotta get another weekend in.
You said you're gonna get through the beach. Like, all right, episode. Let's go to the next one.
Pretty much. Well, that's the nice thing about
Okay.
having stuff on Netflix, right? Because they'll skip the intro, so it makes it a little bit snappier.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I watched it on Netflix a couple times. Mainly, I watched it on Crunchyroll. I'm not gonna lie, 'cause I already seen it on Crunchyroll. So I'm like, that's why I go watch it on Crunchyroll. Yeah. So okay, so that's what's up. So for the Vegeta cosplay, for me, yes, I've had a cosplay malfunction. Killmonger. so I went
Really?
to So I went to Motor City Comic Con, and the little accessories that come with the cosplay pieces just start falling off, like
Um,
like the little weapon thing that he had on his that Michael B. Jordan had on his actual costume.
right.
Pieces just were falling off, and I'm just like, oh my god! And I'm thinking that I had it tight enough on there on the belt because it came with the belt. And they were just falling off. Like I was going throughout the con. I'm like, damn, just lose these pieces. I only had like three left after that.
Get out. Yeah, that's
So that
unfortunate.
yeah, that one was kind of the one I'm like, you know what? I could have just said, you know what, I don't want to do kill my I didn't expect I was gonna have that much of a hassle trying to keep up with those accessory pieces, but I did.
Yeah. Sometimes there's nothing you can do either, because sometimes at cons they'll have like, can't remember what they call it, but it'll be like the craft room where you can go and get glue and stuff
Yeah,
like
I did see that person, but it was too late.
that. Oh, like half of it's gone already.
I was like, well, I wish I was saw them earlier, but oh well. Oh man, yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, I was like, man, the ones I'm known for at the con, I would say Kid Flash from the Flash TV show. Yes, I was the Black Wally West.
Nice.
I'm known for that one a lot. I know a lot of people stop me. Yo, Wally West, it's you. We haven't seen many people do Wally West as black. I'm like, yeah, you gotta represent for the black Wally West, all
Right?
right. Another one I would have to say is vintage Luke Cage, Power Man, the one with the afro and the little
Okay.
metal piece right there and stuff. I'm known for that one too. A lot of people like those two. It's something about those two. And then if I had a third one, Miles Morales and T'Challa would be the the,
Nice.
the other two. Because I don't do costume T'Challa. I do royal garb T'Challa, how he looked with his royal garb on and stuff.
Nice.
So it's a little different because people usually see the ones in the mask and costume. I'm like,
Right.
well, hasn't anyone done like just casual royal guard T'Challa? So I
And
got stopped.
a
Yeah, a
couple
lot for
times.
that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's nice when you see it. It's a very rare costume, but it's still part of who Black Panther was. He wasn't always in gear. So, yeah, it's
True.
nice to see that represented.
Yeah, I think that one, the Kid Flash, and Power Man are probably my most ones, and then Miles Morales, Spider Man. Yeah.
Nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, I did a Dora Milaje one year. It was a formal
Oh,
version though.
that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it was funny. That was one of the other ones you posted online. Like, we had a good time doing it. And then it kind of blew up. And you're like, oh, people really like this. Thank you. But it was a lot of fun redesigning the costume, but keeping it very close to what they actually wear in the movie. So,
Oh, that's dope. That seemed like that was fun as you were putting it together.
yeah. Well, yeah,
I
because you had to
did
make the neck piece. And then, bless my friend's heart, that whole front piece is actually beaded in the actual costume.
cool.
So she actually went and found like puff paint. I was able to actually do the pattern, but in puff paint, so it was still like three-dimensional, but and looked like the actual front breastplate and stuff. So it looked really, really nice. But
Okay.
yeah, it was a lot of work to put together, but so worth it.
Yeah, some of these people do come up. I seen this lady that did Metroid Prime. That's the other game I meant to talk about too. Now,
Oh yeah,
I'd leave that as an honorable mention. The lady did the whole Samus Aran costume where she had the whole like the blaster, the visor, the helmet. She did it all from scratch.
that's
I'd be
amazing.
amazed when people can do that. And even there was another person that did a Digimon. Redamine's talisman Digimon form from scratch. I asked the young lady, I'm like, yo, like, you did all this all from scratch? She's like, yeah. I'm like,
Takes a lot of work, that kind of stuff. I've
yeah,
done two armor pieces. So there was Vegeta's, but then I also did,
right.
if you're familiar with Final Fantasy 12, I did a Fran, and
Okay.
she had like a helmet, and what do you call it, arm guards and leg guards. That took me, oh my gosh, I don't even. It was easily 120, 160 hours of like
Woo.
designing everything, cutting it out, putting the warble on, fitting it to your body. It got to the point where my friend was like, "Are you doing okay?" Because I was getting so stressed, and I was like, "No." So I packed it all in a bag and went over there, and we literally, sat together and figured out how to like zip it and form it to the body, and you get to heat it up and then do it again, and that's a ton of
Yeah,
work. Whenever I see it
it
too, I'm
is.
also just blown away.
It is. I think the only one that I put together semi, not everything. Power Man, the yellow shirt, the blue jeans, black
Nice.
boots, yeah. Yeah, but the other ones I paid for, the Kid Flash one, it ran me about 160 bucks for the Kid Flash cosplay. It kind of sucks because the zipper did break eventually on it. I can't put it back
Zippers
on
are never
anymore.
good. Never
That
good on
darn
those stuff.
zipper. Yeah, I was trying to do it. Like, oh, well, go back and cosplay as Kid Flash. And I'm like, nope, this zipper's not all the way up. Not going through this.
It's nice though that you can buy them nowadays, because
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
you want to custom, but other times you just want to be the character and have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Kid Flash. I'm thinking about investing in another one of those. And definitely Royal Guard T'Challa as well. So, yeah, there was a lady on Etsy that did the Royal Guard T'Challa. She also has like other Afrocentric clothing and stuff, so that's pretty cool too. Decent
Nice.
prices. So yeah, I went on Etsy randomly just to see that. I hadn't been on there in so long. I'm like, I wonder if she's still on there. I wonder if she. I was just saying to myself, I'm like, I looked. I was like, oh, she's still there.
That's
I was like, yes,
perfect. Because a lot of people took their stuff down after COVID. Yeah,
yeah,
my one of my friends is a huge Mega Man fan, and I wanted to do Zero because we always kind of cosplay as a character as a group.
right,
There was someone who was on there that was doing amazing helmets, because Zero's helmet's not the one you can just buy off of Amazon.
right.
Whoever it was took it down, and I was like, daggone it. I don't know if this cosplay's ever going to be made, because that is a very specific helmet shape. So it's going to be a lot of work, or I'll have to
Yeah,
change characters. But yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome when you're like, maybe you're still there.
I was hoping. I'm like, please still be there. I seen a Rocket Raccoon cosplay, but they want too much for it though. Like the lady, I tried to talk it down the price. Like she was like from overseas, somewhere like in Russia. She's talking about 1,000 for a Rocket Raccoon cosplay. I mean, it's nice. I'm not gonna lie, the quality is really well done. But I'm like, lady, no one's paying $1,000 for a cosplay.
That's very. The only way I could see myself doing it is if it felt like I could wear it outside of cosplay.
Yeah,
Then it's like at least some of the pieces are getting multiple uses. But yeah,
right.
for I might
Yeah,
just one time I might wear it what, 2 or 3 times, and then that's it.
right.
Like, yeah, thousands. That's
Yeah,
steep.
yeah, I was just amazed. I'm like, I mean, the quality is there. Like when I see them, okay, the quality is there, but no one's spending $1,000, lady. Get this out your man.
Man, was it at least custom made, or was it like a standard size?
It was custom made.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I guess she
You gotta
said she
really
got
want to be that character.
exactly. I wanted to, but I'm like, I ain't paying no 1,000 for it. Like, look, lady, I spent 200. I think at most 300 for cosplay, but a
Yeah.
1,000 is kind of like, ooh, do I want to go there? So, my next question: early video game memories and early hard video game memories.
So I mentioned Xenogears early, and it's funny because I was
Okay.
thinking about it. This follows for both, because one
Okay.
of my Xenogears is easily one of my favorite games. I remember playing back in the day. I used to get those demo discs.
Okay.
That's how I discovered Xenogears, was one of those demo discs, and I
Okay.
immediately wanted it. But within the first like 3 hours, you meet this boss called Calamity, and it is this giant like gear that just takes over this entire cavern. And I
Yeah.
was probably stuck on that boss for like 2 months. I could not get past it. I had to go back and like grind the area and go back. Still failed. Grinded it again.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
day I beat it, I remember thinking I had lost already, and for whatever reason, I think I had just gotten that last like 2 points, and it
Right.
finally like, flew off. And I remember thinking, "Oh my gosh, that took ever." But there were a couple of battles like that in Xenogears that were just
Okay.
like there's one where you fight this priest who's kind of juiced up and is fighting you. Again,
Yeah.
I think it was like about a month that it took me to beat it, and I literally remember one night dreaming of a strategy, waking up in the middle of the night, going down and testing it, and being like, still losing, but now having like another strategy. And I remember getting back up to my room and thinking, I'm playing this game too much. I'm dreaming strategies in the middle of the night.
You say, "Oh, I got another idea. Okay, this didn't
Right.
work. I'm gonna try this
I
out."
can do this other wire. Because yeah, with Xenogears, you have to equip your gear with like the correct guns, the correct wires, wires that help you move in sand, wires that help you move underwater. And if you don't have them, you're just done. Like your character just gets obliterated. So, um, in terms of other like old school video game memories, um, did you ever shop at a game or a store called FYE?
Yeah.
Okay. They're mainly like music and mainly,
Now they are. Yeah.
right,
Hmm.
yeah, now they are. Have you ever heard of the game Suikoden 2?
Yeah. I never
It's
played
this
it, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
the remaster is coming out
Okay.
in March, so that's super exciting. But I'll
Okay.
never forget my mom randomly dropping me off at FYE. I was bored and randomly finding like a Suikoden just randomly sitting there. And this is back in the day where you couldn't find it. Like you couldn't find it on Walmart, you couldn't find it at GameStop, couldn't
Oh
find it like
wow.
Hollywood Video anywhere. And it was just randomly
Wow.
sitting there. I remember
Okay.
showing my mom the game and telling her, how hard it was to find. And she was like, "Well, sweetie, it might mean that it's like a fake game or you're not supposed to have it." So I had to put it back. I think like a month and a half passed. I'd done really well in my grades, and my mom asked me what I wanted, and I was like, "I want that game." And I remember going back into the store, and it was gone, and I was so heartbroken.
Ah.
But I was stuck. She dropped me off, and this is when I was a kid. So I remember
Right.
going through the music and randomly finding the game shoved behind music. So I grabbed it. I like ran up to the guy and I was like, "Is this game legit? Like, can I buy it?" And he was like, "Absolutely, it's yours." And that's how I got my Suikoden 2 game. And I remember thinking it was meant to be.
somebody meant to come back to get it, but they forgot. So
I
when
know.
you
I
got
always
there, they probably went back like, "Where's
forgot
that
got it.
game?" Guy probably told him like, "Oh, somebody already bought it already, by the way."
Right. Well, and he said that they had, ordered it in for someone. They hadn't come to pick it up. So probably, yeah, an employee was planning on buying it and hid it. And I,
Hit
maybe,
it. Yeah, that's interesting. Wow.
yeah.
Okay. So for
And then
me, Lion. Oh, go
Lion,
ahead.
oh, Lion. No, you can
Yeah,
go ahead.
Lion King. Lion King for me was a early horror video game. I never beat that game. I
Dang,
used, yeah, yeah, it was so hard. I'm like, dang, what was Disney doing back in the day? I mean, Lion King was hard, Aladdin,
it was
and then
super
there was
hard.
another game. Even the Hercules game was kind of hard. I never beat those Disney games. I'm like,
Which
and
one?
it's
What was the last one?
Lion King, Hercules, and Aladdin.
Oh, I don't think I ever even tried the Hercules one.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
those Disney games back in the day was hard. I'm like, like what did Disney had his meetings? We're gonna give these kids these games. We're gonna make it a little bit harder now. We're gonna do this. I remember the Lion King stage I was stuck on is right before Simba dad dies. That
Yeah.
stage was ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie to
Never
you guys. It was
I've never
just
seen
like,
what's
yo,
past that to this day.
right. Yeah, it was just like I'm amazed. And the thing was, I would, cousins come over, my friends would come over, we'd take turns, but we never got to the end of the game. Never.
Yeah. Those games were impossible. That and like TMNT. Like the old TMNT games were
Yeah,
so hard.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was just like, I don't know what they was thinking of their criteria of games. I'm like, nah. Another early game memory, I would say. I already said Pokemon, so I'm not gonna say that one again. I would say the Incredible Hulk game they had on Super Nintendo. That was fun. You ever played that? The Incredible Hulk
I
game was.
That doesn't ring any bells.
It
Is
was
on
real.
Nintendo.
Yeah, I think it was. I want to say it might have been on Sega too. I'm not for sure. It might have been on Sega because some of their games they were on Nintendo
Both.
and Sega. It was really good. It was hard. Um, wasn't as hard as Lion King. Sometimes it was hard, depending on I guess the level stages and stuff.
Right.
The other game that was hard that I never beat was Home Alone. Remember Home Alone?
See, I don't think I even realized they had a video game. That's
Yeah,
crazy. So what do you do? Do you try to like fight off the robbers as they come in, or
yeah. You
nice?
try to get away from the robbers, shoot them with the water gun, and then
All
if they
those
catch
little
you,
games. Those
if
are
they catch
crazy.
you, they have Macaulay Culkin. Ah!
You're kidding. That's awesome. I hope he owns that game. That's iconic.
Yeah, I was just like, who came up with this game?
They were just like, what can we sell to kids that they're gonna buy?
Yeah, Home Alone was a funny game. I'm like, I just was outdone by just you trying to get chased by these guys and they catch you. You're screaming, you're getting jewelry, you're trying to set traps on them and stuff. And that was pretty much the premise of the game. It was pretty simple, but I never beat the game.
I wonder if there's like mods now that you could go back and play. I'm sure there are. I've just never tried it. But it does.
Okay.
Part of me always wonders, like, was it because I was a kid, or is the game just ridiculously hard?
Some of them were. I think that was on purpose. I think they was at the studio cooking like, no, we gonna make this game extra hard.
The kids will never get tired of it. It's great value for money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Another one I would say that was early. I would say Kirby because I think I was introduced to Kirby right along the time with Pokemon and even Mortal Kombat. Kirby, because the first game I noticed that he didn't have no abilities. Second game he has abilities. I didn't have the second game. Someone when I went to summer camp with had the second game. I'm like, oh, he got abilities like shoot fire. You know what I'm saying? Do stuff with water and all that stuff. I'm like, man, he was so plain in the first game. All he can do is suck up things, shoot them back out at you.
Well, I remember
But
those commercials too. They did so many commercials to be like, he can suck up so much. So it's
yeah,
yeah, it's odd to think of him now without having abilities. That's like his main
yeah, he didn't
core
have
thing.
abilities in the first game. I thought that was weird. I was like, so he
It
went
is.
from no abilities to the second one with abilities. I'm like, maybe they said they need to make the character a little bit more interesting when he's able to do more with his abilities. So I'm like, oh, that works.
Yeah.
Um, my other one is Mortal Kombat. So right along with my Game Boy I got from Christmas, that's right along with my Super Nintendo that my mom got me for Christmas. One of my games was Mortal Kombat 3, and I'm like, yeah,
That's nice.
the game was crazy because they shoot the fireball, stealing souls, ripping heads off. I'm like,
It was very graphic for back then.
and
I had a
I was
friend
just
who would bring his to like the latchkey and we would play it. And I remember thinking, oh, this is why my parents don't want me to have this.
yeah, it was what's going on, Roddy? Thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah, so it was kind of crazy because I'm like, dang, mama bought me this. Yeah, like cut Lyle his hat. He can throw the hat and it cuts off
Yeah, it was
heads, and I'm
fun.
like, I'm surprised I wasn't traumatized.
Now that you mention it, yeah, I am too. Because you're seeing a lot. And then that's when they introduced, was it all the fatalities too? Like
Yeah,
babyality and
yeah, yeah,
animality. Yeah, they did a lot.
right.
They did a lot.
Then you
It's
had the
just
one
so funny.
where Ray shoot the electricity at you.
Yeah, and so much
Yeah,
in that game.
yeah. But what got me was when they did the finish him. And then
Yeah.
you do your little special move.
And they still do that now, even in the new ones, right? They get
Yeah,
even more.
Yeah. Yeah, fatalities was something else. What got me was when the little white dude pop up, whoopsie.
Whose idea was that? To this day, like that is iconic. That's crazy.
Whoopsie. I said, what the heck? I'm thinking like when I did, I'm like, what
Did
is
someone just pop up? Because yeah, he goes away. So you, if you don't catch him, you're like the first couple of times, you're just like, what just happened?
this? Yeah, it was pretty graphic, but it was a fun game. It was graphic, but I'm like, yo, this is a
That's too
little,
funny. You got lucky.
yeah.
My dad at one point, what game was it? Parasite
Hmm.
Eve. I
Okay,
remember I wanted it just because it was like a girl protagonist and it looked like a detective movie.
right.
Um, but I'll never forget my dad coming down and like sitting next to me, being like, "I'm gonna watch you play this so I can see what's in it." And like, oh. Unfortunately, there's in Parasite Eve there's not a lot, but in video games back in the day, you could definitely find some stuff, and it was like, "Oh, should I be playing this?"
Yeah, God of War was like that. A friend of mine told me about it in high school, but he didn't tell me about certain things, and so I get the
Right,
game. When
right.
I go to the store and stuff, I picked it up. Luckily, I was able to pick it up because I have facial hair, so they thought I was older anyway. So I picked it up and stuff. I got to the crib. So then there's one scene in the game. I'm thinking like, all right, you got the ladies right there. And I'm like, oh, I was like, oh,
It's one of the most famous scenes, I swear. Yeah, because you first time you see, it, you're like, you're not really gonna. Oh, okay. And you get points and coins from it too, and it's like, oh, I think that's one of the reasons why to see the new God of War games, I'm like, you all have shifted quite a bit from action scenes that give you points with the ladies to, the current one. But
Then you get an achievement for it. I forgot
dude,
what.
amazing game. But yeah, those little moments were like, oh, I was grown up, I think, by the time that game came out. But working
Yeah.
at video game stores, there would be times where you would see moms or dads give you a game, and it's like, who's playing this? Oh, Timmy is, and you're like, you're really just for a reason, right? And the whole time, little Timmy's like, shut up. Like, sorry. Just feel like I need to tell
Oh.
you this because if not, your mom is going to come in a week and be livid. So,
Oh man, yeah. So yeah, God of War. That one was unexpected. I'm like, man, I wish you'd have told me that before then. Luckily, I was able to cut it down. Like, oh man. So the next one is, what are some of your top five throwback stories that you enjoyed?
top five would be we talked about them actually already. Suncoast
Okay.
Video was
Okay.
amazing to me. I actually ended up
Right.
working there after grad or after undergrad.
Oh, that's what's
Um,
up.
and then the one in Cincinnati, actually, we used to have a con. Usually, we literally called it Sun Con. It was like a mini con that the kids could come to, and all
Okay.
the sales would be like everything would be like 50 to 60% off. It was really, really fun.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have people literally drive like 2, 3 hours to come to the store.
Okay.
Um, sad to see that one go. Um, also loved Hollywood Video. It was kind of like a blockbuster. Yeah, I'm gonna just say some people don't know Hollywood Video, and I'm like that one was the MVP.
For real. For real.
Like so many nights were spent there, and they always had like a great anime selection. Actually, when I think about it, and
Oh, I
game
missed out on
section.
that. I missed out on the
Yeah,
anime. The game, and yeah, but I ain't know about the anime. Dang, you have to
our
tell
little
me about
area
that.
back then used to have like almost 2 full racks of it. And granted, they never said what was mature or not. So there again, a couple of times where I picked some stuff up and got home and like, oh, I probably should. But the fact that it was even there back then was massive. So yeah,
Wow.
Hollywood Video was great. And I think they were the ones that let you no, that's games not GameStop. What am I'm blanking now. Game Crazy
Yeah,
was
Game Crazy. Yeah, that's a part of it too, though. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Game Crazy. That's what I went for. Yeah, Game Crazy. Yeah.
But I
Hmm.
love the fact that they let you play some of the game. They would like open like a used copy and let you play it. So that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
huge. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's like, yeah, another one of the stores that I miss. Now I think about it, I worked at both of those.
Oh, that's what's up.
Well,
That's what's up for real though. I'm like, dang.
it was such a fun job.
Yeah, it
Unfortunately,
looks
ended
like
in tragedy, but it
it.
was a really good time. Great customers. But yeah, I remember having several times with going back to our old question or our previous question of like parents buying their kids like a game they should not, and having to be like, "Ma'am, seriously, GTA 5 is not for your 6 year old." And we actually would have parents sometimes come back into the store and like want their money back because they would buy the game and then see it and then they'd be like, "Well, you didn't tell me," and I'd be like, "I told you.
Right. You just
I don't
weren't
know who was
listening.
here." Right, but
Yeah.
and then yeah, Media Play. We already talked about it, but Media Play was also one of my like my favorite stores because again, you could get all the stuff there.
Okay. No, those were some good ones. All right. So for me, Blockbuster. I ain't gonna lie, I used to go there Friday religiously a lot just to go get a new video game and want to play and just wanted to rent it like Mario Party, Super Smash Brothers, whatever game it was. Blockbuster was that place besides renting movies. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So yeah, Blockbuster. I think the last time I went to Blockbuster, ooh, way back, we had one in our state. I think that was the last one. And I went to go get The Matrix, the first movie with Keanu Reeves. That was the last time I went to Blockbusters, and then after that, it closed. I was like,
They
dang,
all died,
yeah,
and
one
it's.
last time.
I'm gonna say there's one. Isn't there like one store in the United States still,
Yeah, just one store left. Yeah,
which is
yeah,
interesting? But yeah,
yeah. Kind of like, dang, like kids don't know about going to Blockbuster to pick up games, renting movies.
the
They'll never
excitement,
know.
the
Yeah,
genuine like you would get so ready to you jump in the car, you get over there, and then
yeah,
you would yeah whatever was there,
yeah.
and you would see the boxes, and then you have to see if like the movie was behind the box or not.
Right. Another one for me is Funko Land. Yeah, I used to go to Funko Land too,
I'm
during
not
the
familiar with
weekends.
that one.
So Funko Land is pretty much what GameStop used to be. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it
nice.
turned into GameStop. But Funko Land, it had a decent amount of Super Nintendo, Game Boy games. That's where I got my Donkey Kong games from. Some of my what is that? I want to say the Incredible Hulk game that I got from there too as well. So yeah, Funko Land it didn't stay around long enough. I guess because games they weren't keeping them in good condition, especially
Yeah,
like the PlayStation One and PlayStation Two games. The cartridges you just blow it
right.
out.
You're good.
You know what I'm saying? But this, I think that was the problem they were having with Funko Land. So that's when it ended up becoming now what it is GameStop. So there's some history right there. The other one, I would definitely say Media Play. Media Play had music, video games, movies, TV shows, manga, anime, so that was one of the places. As a matter of fact, U.S. Santana's second CD, What the Game's Been Missing, Target and them and Best Buy wanted $14.99 for it. Media Play only wanted it for $7.99, and it had 22 tracks on
Oh wow. Yeah, those
there. So
have amazing sales. I
yeah, they had a yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so Media Play definitely was one of those places. Like if you were looking for like, especially music, some of the music was had better prices. But yeah, I miss Media Play. I'm like, dang man, like I used to go look at the manga too because Dragon Ball, that's when I found out when Dragon Ball had their own manga. Bleach, before that became an anime, I knew that they had their own manga. Even Naruto and One Piece. So I would go sometimes just to read the mangas. I'm like, oh, so I become an anime now. Like, this is cool.
Man. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I worked there, we ended up getting robbed blind. That's what the lady was saying that caused us to go out of business. Was that
Ah
they had no
man.
security, but it was such a
Uh,
great store.
yeah. Now the next one is another one that was a part of my childhood. Toys R Us.
I was never a Toys R Us kid, oddly enough, but I know so many
Ah,
people that love it. It's so funny.
yeah. Yeah, Toys R Us, man. I remember when I used to do good on the report cards. Mom would go take me to Toys R Us, go pick out a Super Nintendo game or a Game Boy Color Game Boy game. I was the spot at some point in time, but then business wasn't like it used to be. But there is still Toys R Us around. It's with Macy's now. I keep forgetting that Toys R Us is they. I guess they got some type of partnership with Macy's. So like when you go to
That
Macy's
way they
now,
came back. Because I feel
yeah,
like they died and yeah, they
they
kind
came
of.
back and now they're with Macy's. So if you know,
Oh,
that's the new thing with Toys R Us now. I guess.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got a couple of Barbies from there. Because back in the day, that
Okay.
was one of the few places where you can get black Barbie dolls back where, where I lived.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but other than that, I think maybe once or twice after that, we went in there. Um, it's funny because now I'm like, where do my parents buy their stuff? Because it wasn't like Amazon. But I
Yeah.
think we did GameStops and Hollywood Video and the Game Crazies more often.
And right, and then I would say my fifth one would be Hollywood Video.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because Game Crazy had the best deals. They had better deals than GameStop when it came to trading in games and stuff.
All the time. Yeah.
It's like man, like GameStop be like, yeah, you want this? Oh, this would be 3 cents. You like 3 cents?
I'll just
Like
keep
this
the
is
game,
a
I guess. Like,
yeah. They did that with my Game Boy. It was like, oh, we'll give you 5 cents for my bro. Let me get $20 for it, bro. Like I'm tired of trying to talk
really?
the dude down. Like, bro, let me just get the $20, bro. $20.
Yeah.
He like, no, I can't do that. I'm like, my Game Boy, man.
Right. I think that's one of the reasons why I stopped selling games when I was younger. Because it was like, what's the point? I'd rather just have a collection than give it to you for 5 cents. Like, that's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, 5 cents. Like, no, I'm like, bro, 20. I'm telling him like 20. His manager was in like 20.
He's just looking at you like, nah, he's here. I can't do anything. Mm.
Oh man, yeah, but yeah, definitely Hollywood Video. I went mainly for the video games. I didn't know about the anime section. Thanks, for you telling me about it. I'm like, I didn't know they had a dope anime section. I knew that. I'd have been like, oh, I'm going over
All
there
the time. And you know what? It was funny because I don't know if they knew what they were doing back then, but it was always the video game section, and then at the end was the anime section. So it was always like on one whole side of the store. I remember it perfectly.
too.
And
Oh
yeah,
man,
I used to be
that's
so
what's up
excited to
though.
go to Hollywood.
Yeah, so those my top five. Yep. Yeah. So that's interesting. I did not know about that Game Crazy had that inside the Hollywood Video. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So this one's an interesting. What manga series did you got into before the anime?
So we talked about this earlier. When I was a kid, you could not find manga really. You could find comics at like a Barnes and Nobles or some bookstores, but manga was not something that you could easily come by. So I don't think I got my first manga until after undergrad. And my
Okay.
first one was I don't know if you're familiar with it's kind of obscure, but it's called RG Vita.
Okay. No, I ain't never heard that
I
one. Dang.
literally went and brought one out because I was like, if anybody recognizes it, it's from Clamp. So Card Captor
Okay.
Sakura, if you're familiar with
Okay.
that series, they're the ones who like did all the art and they're like the studio.
I see
But
it. Okay.
it was my first manga series, and I ended
Okay.
up buying it because from Hollywood Video
Okay.
they had two OVAs, and I remember
Right.
watching them and thinking they were beautiful, and then randomly seeing I think that that manga in a what do you call it, Suncoast Video, and they
Right.
ended up
Some
having
house
like the
video.
whole
Yep.
series. So I ended
Right.
up getting the whole series and loved it. Sad story is actually more tragic than I thought it was gonna be, but it's a good story. But yeah, that was my first ever manga because it used to be so hard to come by. You can come by
Yeah,
the
that's true.
anime decently easy, but yeah,
Right.
manga's like impossible.
Okay. Mine would be let me see if I got it on me right quick at the bottom. Let me see. Hold on. Did I move it? No, I didn't move it. Okay, so it's not the first series, but I mean it is one of the series I got into. Dragon Ball. Well, this is Dragon Ball Z, by the way, but Dragon Ball was the first. I got into the actual anime, then I got into the manga. Like the anime I saw, I was like 7 years old. Yeah, 7 years old, watching Dragon Ball WB at the time, and then like one Sunday it stopped showing, and I was like, "What happened?" Like, spiky
Oh,
haired
that is
kid going,
weird. Huh.
yeah. So then, like later on down the line, when Tanami brought it out, Dragon Ball, because Dragon Ball Z had eventually was on Tanami already back then, and even Channel 50 at some point in time. Then they decided to bring Dragon Ball. I'm like, oh, this is the series I saw as a kid. Then when I watched it again, I said, oh, this is why it didn't make Warner Brothers some of the stuff, the raunchy humor. I was like, oh, I get it now. I get it
I always forget that the original Dragon Ball had a raunchier sense of humor. Yeah. Goku was a menace.
Go, not just Goku, Master Roshi. You see the episode
Oh my
where he's
gosh.
shut down and trying to figure out where Bulma was at?
I've seen it in passing, and yeah, when you put it in that kind of perspective, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, did you know
WB
he
would
was?
not touch that.
Yeah, did you know he was based off of Bruce Lee, Master Roshi's character? Yeah,
No,
yeah,
really?
yeah.
Huh.
Every anime has a Bruce Lee like character.
That is true. Now that you mention it, but Roshi is probably one of the most obscure ones because while he is like I
Yeah.
don't think I'd ever. I don't think Bruce Lee was like that. What? I don't know Bruce Lee like I thought I did.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Dragon Ball was definitely one of the first ones. And then I had Bleach. I used to have the manga. I think something happened to it. I don't have it anymore. That was another one. One Piece as well. I did have the manga at some point in time, but those were some of the early shows I saw. Bleach, I read the manga, but One Piece, I think at the time it might have came out. Oh, you know what? It might have. So Bleach and Dragon Ball.
Nice. I've
Yeah.
never read the all of the Bleach or any of the Bleach actual manga, but it's funny because
Okay.
their wiki does an amazing job at like updating, and I kind of wish I had gotten into the manga because they have like that. I always call it like the after chapter, right? Like it's always
Yeah.
extra content. And the Soul Society, they have so much more history and like nuance
Yeah.
than I ever knew. I was watching a YouTube channel, the guy was kind of going through like, did you know that Squad Nine's in charge of a newsletter? Like, no, I did not know that. What's the newsletter? That's
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, a Bleach. Yeah, I feel like the manga would probably be really, really cool, just because you would get some of those extra details that they totally omit in the anime.
Right. Yeah. The Bleach manga it's like even when it comes to certain things within the anime, especially with the new season, there's some things they left out. And I guess because anime is costly to be made. So some stuff you see in it, but you go to the manga, you be like, oh, it's like you said, additional information that may
Yeah,
have not been in the show because like, they got so much time to put so much into an episode. And like, well, here you go. You know what I'm saying? Like you either gonna go read the manga, you're not. But I like the manga. You know what I'm saying, a lot more, but I do enjoy the anime. I'm not gonna lie, just seeing the abilities and just the captains, the color, all that stuff versus black and white, it's like it's
yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah, the newer seasons, I'm of course behind because that's my theme. It is
It's all
absolutely
right.
gorgeous. Like it's just
Yeah,
even watching the newer animations, like, geez, they do such a good job. But yeah, they gotta
yeah,
cut stuff,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes I gotta cut certain stuff out, and you be like, oh well, it is what it is. So this is a good one because we both watched this. Okay, so is Castlevania season two better than one, or do you like season one better than two?
I can't decide. I think I technically
Okay.
slightly like season two a little bit more, but I
Okay.
think it's partially because it's shorter and it got
Okay.
straight to the point. Season one of the original Castlevania, I did not like at all. In fact, it's so funny. One of my friends was like, "You gotta give the season two a chance. Like, you're gonna love it." And I was like, "What?" And then I, of course, fell in love with it, and I've become a fan.
See, at least you gave it a chance. You're like,
Yeah,
ah.
he's like, no, for real. Like you'll like the humor. It's much much better. Um, yeah, season two, I feel like the story was really good. The representation was amazing. The
Yeah.
action was intense
Yeah, it was
too.
very intense. Yeah.
And there were
Yeah.
things happen. I was like, are we just ripping faces off now? Is that what we do? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, So I really loved season 2 for what they put so far. I keep on wondering if they're gonna be like a season or a part 3. A part of me
Yeah,
feels like they're done, but they
they'll
might
probably
keep.
do like a part three and a part four, I believe. Yeah.
So we might have to revisit because really with season 1, then like the first part, loved the second and the third one, but the ending for the first season was not my favorite. I felt like
Okay.
very very flat, and I loved some of the plot lines where they ended, but some of the other ones I just kind of felt like they kind of just dropped them, or they didn't really, fulfill what they had promised. So I think that's another reason why I'm like, they're kind
Okay.
of they're equal to
Okay.
me for different reasons.
Yeah, I would say season one it was more world building. You know what I'm saying? Like just learning about Dracula, the type of vampire he is. Why the other vampires hate him. Then he has these humans that hate other humans, and then it was like just the world building. The fighting was really good in the first season. Like you said, maybe some of the story wasn't as great in season one. It was enjoyable though, but not
Yeah,
as good as season two. Season two, I mean, man, the action reminded me of like Black Clover. I don't know if you've seen that anime or not. It reminded me of,
briefly.
yeah, it reminded me of Black Clover, some of the fighting scenes, and Dragon Ball Z a little bit. I'm like, y'all, this is they really
It was
stepped it
so
up.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
For
I was
all
just
the
like,
characters too, right? Like I feel like the main characters in the first season were amazing. But
yeah,
some of the other characters it was like, this one, if you were on the
yeah,
battlefield, you were messing it up. I'm not saying every word, but like everyone just felt really impressive. Like I
yeah.
can't remember what the young girl's name is, but she and
And then,
her
yeah, and
no,
then
the
for
blonde
the other one, the other chick,
Maria.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
Maria.
Maria, yeah, Maria,
But she was summoning, Juiced was doing stuff that I was like, okay, great,
yeah,
I'm here for it. The villains
yeah,
were always amazing.
right,
Drolta though, and I can't remember what the Sacrament, but the woman who she ends up possessing, everything
yeah,
was just so unbelievably well done, fight scene
yeah.
wise. It
Yeah,
reminded me
they,
of Bleach, honestly, because it was beautiful and very intense, but very enjoyable to watch, like a
wow.
good fight scene.
Yeah, I would say season two definitely, like I said, the characters were a lot more fleshed out. It was a revenge story as well because the one dude lost his mother and he's trying to fight this other one that's like a serpent, and it was kind
Yeah,
of crazy. Yeah,
I liked that Olrock had like that different version though too. Yeah, just the representation of even the vampires having
yeah,
uniqueness to them was like
yeah,
I like this. This feels really really cool and fresh for a
right,
vampire story.
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, season two to me was better too. I was like, okay, season one, I get it. They did the world building. We learned about the world, the people in it, and how these monsters are created and everything. I was like, this is pretty darn cool. All right, see what season two gonna do. Like, is it gonna step it up or not? So, what was your favorite character from Castlevania season two?
It would be Annette.
Okay, same here,
Yeah,
and that, yeah,
she
yeah,
was
it just
very cool and relatable too.
okay. Yeah, I just like the story where they kind of show like her background, her family, and then the Yoruba, saying her spirituality. I thought that was really cool how they connected that within her story, and then she went through a lot. I mean, her friend became one of the
So
monsters. You
much.
know what I'm saying? She was brokenhearted by that, thinking that he was going to eventually turn on her because he became that way, but he was helping her too. You know what I'm
He
saying? It's
was
like,
he was a
yeah,
real
so
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so I
then
thought that was, hmm
going.
yeah, so I thought that was cool that they actually her character they showed her storyline. I tried to figure. I'm like, well, what's with her storyline? Like we know about her a little bit, then they went on to show her story, and then even when she got almost trapped in the spirit world, I was like, uh oh,
Yeah.
that was scary. I was like, oh man, it reminded me of Assassin's Creed Origins. You ever played that?
Ooh, I'm not sure if I played Origins. Is that I played the first three.
The one that you played with Bayek. Yep. hmm The black
Okay.
character. Yeah, it
Oh,
reminded me of that sequence where he got into like a state of like where he was in the dream world, or the next like conscious. And that reminded me of that where she almost got trapped. fighting
Yeah.
the creatures within. That's like, man, this is crazy.
Well, and at one point I was like, they cannot kill. They better not. You're not
Yeah, I
allowed.
didn't. Right now, the most surprising thing is I found out just today. I'm gonna go to it on my tablet. But and Ned wasn't always a black character in Castlevania. I'm gonna show you this. Can you see it?
Oh,
I didn't know that.
me neither.
Isn't
So
that
she based
interesting?
is she based off an actual video game character?
Yeah.
Is that
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's interesting?
Yeah,
See,
she's
I didn't
white.
realize.
Yeah, she's white, and then she appeared in the Castlevania game 1993 Rondo of Blood.
Okay, did I play
Yeah.
that one? I played a couple of the
I have
Castlevania
a couple
games.
Castlevania games. Not many, but like two or three. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because Isaac originally isn't black either, but he was
Wow.
one of the best characters in season one. But yeah, I
Okay.
remember meeting Hector because in the game where you meet Hector, he's the main character. You actually play as him, and you're fighting against Isaac. And Isaac looks like someone walked off like a metal band, like a punk metal band. Very
Right.
different design. So when he showed up, I was like, oh, that's a pleasant surprise. And then I ended up adoring Isaac's story. His story was probably one of the best ones in
Yeah,
season
that's
one.
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that either. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I looked and said, "Oh, I thought she was always there." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool to know
I thought
they."
she was an original character. Yeah, I didn't realize she was based off of. I know the little girl is from one of the previous games because her design is
Right.
very similar, I think, to her original video game character's design.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
good to know. I'm glad they changed it. It made her, I think, more relatable and interesting
Yeah.
versus,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they were trying to do something a little bit different. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
All right. So this is the second half of our interview, and this is pretty much dealing with the content creator side of things. So, what is the inspiration behind wanting to do a YouTube channel?
So really, what inspired me to do the YouTube channel was I'm a comic writer as well as a gaming content creator.
Right.
And within the comic creation space, you see a lot of YouTube videos from an artist perspective. So you have a lot of people who can draw who are talking about their comic creation process. And
Right.
I learned very quickly that when I started trying to create my own comic as someone who cannot draw, your process is pretty different. The things you're focusing on, the skills you need, it's just a different process. And I kind of surprised to find that there wasn't any YouTube channel that focused on that. Um,
Hmm.
it's a surprising amount of people that if you're in like the comic creation indie space at all, there's a ton of writers,
Oh yeah.
ridiculous amount of people who want to write a comic, but
Yeah.
not a lot of comic or YouTube videos that focus on that experience specifically. So that's
Okay.
really what kind of inspired me to even start it because I just wanted to start talking about my experience overall as trying to tackle this project, but as a solo comic writer, not a comic writer and artist. Um,
Hmm.
Over
Okay.
time, I kind of evolved to being more of wanting to focus on media that has good stories and good characters. Because I kind of realized as a youngster, I wasn't allowed to read comics as much because
Wow.
I actually have that weird memory of having a woman come up to me and being like, "Little girls don't read comics," and me being like, "What do you mean?"
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
wow.
so a lot of my background actually when it comes to things that like inspired me media wise is video games. Fortunately, my parents were like, no, you can play a video game, doesn't matter that you're a girl. um,
Okay.
so I think a lot of my love for stories and character creation came from video games, and that's kind of why I started including that more into my channel because that's where a
Okay.
lot of my passion originally comes from. And yeah, that's kind of what inspired the original channel, and then kind of what I'm doing right now is that focusing on video games and their stories. Always, there's always games that are like story driven or character driven, and then also talking about my comic creation journey because it's a lot more work than I think a lot of
Yeah.
people realize that goes into even just writing and producing your own comic.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. That's interesting. Wow. Hey, that's a good answer. I'm not gonna lie, that's a good answer. Wow. I know for me, I know for a lot of people, if you know now, if you don't, you don't know. But I used to be big on painting and drawing, and then my thing was I took a hiatus from that, and then I started to do YouTube. It was like, all right, this is something I wasn't good at the beginning, you know what I'm saying, just figuring out things, and then eventually I said, you know what, I'm having fun with this. I'm learning things as I go, meeting other people from other places, not just in the state I live in. You know what I'm saying, connecting with me and stuff like that. And I just say, yo, this is dope. Like, I started off originally, my channel was gonna be like quotes, but
Really?
I grew bored with the idea of it. I was like, this is boring. Like, just me doing little pictures here and there. I just grew bored with it. I was like, this is not it. So then I did like skits every now and then. I was supposed to be doing that with a friend. That never really worked out. And then I just said, you know what? Maybe just going the solo route was a better idea. And then when I took the solo route, I just started to like, all right, I do this type of content. I started off, like I said, with Marvel, DC. Skits became less and less. And then I just said, okay, anime is doing good. I think the first video that I noticed that did really good was the Brawly video. I don't even know if I still have it up on the channel or not. And the Disney merger video, when Disney and 20th Century Fox merging together, I seen people took a liking to that. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do something with maybe dealing with Disney, Marvel, you know what I'm saying? Then DC. But yeah, originally it wasn't gonna be that. It was gonna be a group channel, and it just never got anywhere with the group channel. So I was like, all right, maybe solo is just better for me.
It's hard to work with the team. It's a lot of
Yeah,
work. So
yeah, it is.
I understand that.
Yeah, it is. I was like, man, people like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then like, all right, what's happening?
No update. Yeah, it can get it's
Yeah,
very hard to find someone, but it's wonderful when you find someone that clicks and it
yeah,
starts to roll. Yeah.
yeah. So then I just started to like do like originally I wanted to do video games a little bit more, but then I just incorporated it as video game news and stuff like that. So yeah, just I guess being a variety content creator is kind of what I am now, like a blur content creator. Where it's just like, okay, Marvel here, DC here, anime, animated, Disney, Marvel, DC, and boom, just clicked, Yeah, so yeah.
And how long have you been on YouTube? You've told me, but I think I forgot.
So originally I had my channel in 2016. I would say 2018 is when I started to put more effort into it, and up until now. Yep.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a late start, but hey, I managed to get it done.
Hey, you're ahead of me. I just started what? I think I tried it 2 years ago is when I started. I put up
Okay,
my first two videos and I was completely taken aback by the editing process. That is
okay.
something you have to really work on and mastering. So I remember trying to get my two videos out and I got done and I was like, I don't know if I can I need to step back and figure out how this to make this
That's
work.
what. Hey, hey, look, I've been there too. I had to step back. I'm like, oh, okay, let me do something
Right.
else. So my next question is, what is your favorite? Because I know you do live streaming content and video content. What's your favorite between the two?
I think video content is right now.
Okay, okay,
Um, I feel like with live streaming, the real benefit is meeting and talking to your audience, which is enjoyable.
true. Yeah,
But with video content, me being such a someone who like loves getting wrapped up in a story and getting wrapped up in characters, it's a bit harder when you're trying to talk to an audience and do that at the same time. So I
right.
think just naturally I like video content, but I want to start working more on figuring out good video content to do live streams. But yeah, I think my nature is just like, oh, I want to. It's like reading a book, but it's a video game.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, videos. Yeah, originally it used to be videos. I guess it's both to some degree. I do like doing the live streams. At first, I wasn't on the live stream bandwagon like, yo, I want to do live streams, and people like, man, you should be doing live streams. I'm like, no, I want to see me do live streams. But eventually, I grew into it. It was something that people really wanted to see me do. They saw another side of me that like you said, that you don't see in the videos, and people taking a liking to that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe I see what people are talking about. Show a little bit more of your personal side to who you are. Videos, I love doing those too because now I got like my own editing style with the videos. I add gifs in there to kind of make a little comical relief to it. Information that I'm unaware of sometimes. That's one thing I love about doing videos. I find information like, okay, I got a video topic. Then I might be like, oh, I found some new information on it. You know, maybe a day later when I do the video, or maybe when I'm doing the video, I might find some new information out. So yeah, I think video content is a good one. And then, like I said, the live streaming, like I said, collaborating with people or just doing solo live streams, that also helps with the YouTube algorithm. I'm still kind of love hate relationship with the shorts. The shorts work, but it's like
I
you don't
don't.
want to be trapped
Yeah,
in it. Yeah, I knew a few people that got trapped in being a YouTube short creator, and I'm just like,
it's a different. The fact that it's a completely different monetization and the way it counts, it makes it very
yeah,
difficult. Yeah, it's a lot
yeah,
more to consider. So there's a part of me that like love shorts because you put it out there, and I feel like 50% of the time you get like some good views, and it's like okay, people like that. But
right,
then yeah, you
yeah.
it just feels like it counts, but it doesn't count. It
Yeah,
helps.
it does because it's got its own monetization. It's not like, what I'm saying? It's not like you can go to 3,000 or 4,000. It's like, no, they got 2 million views. I'm like, dang.
Totally. And I'm like, I'm getting views, but I'm not getting that kind of close to that.
Yeah, it was just like, dang. I thought when they did the new update for it, I was like, okay, maybe they'll include the shorts with it. So, boom, then you'll be able to,
Yeah.
YouTube,
Nope.
like, nah.
You have to work extra hard if you want some shorts money. Like, got it.
They said, you want them 2 million views? You got to work for
Right.
that. And I looked at mine today just out of curiosity, just to see if the shorts are doing anything. I'm at 260. I haven't reached no 2 million.
There ain't even a letter behind any of my numbers. Like,
I'm
long
just like,
list.
but
Yeah.
I just want to say props to the YouTubers that are short people. I've been seeing a lot more of those lately too that just do shorts. Just each content is shorts, and they doing their thing. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna
And
lie.
quite a few people are doing what your friend did. Like they just made it into a shorts channel, which I think
Yeah,
probably helps because it makes you focus on shorts for that channel, and
yeah,
then you can do video content elsewhere. So I've been
yeah,
playing with the idea, but I'm like, again, video content's kind of where I'm comfortable. As a YouTube consumer, that's what I usually consume as well. I think that's part of it. So,
yeah.
you do what you like and what you enjoy. And I think just starting out, I don't think I've even hit my 6 month mark yet. I'll stick with that. But it's constant learning. You never can just shut
Yeah,
your ears off. You constantly have to figure out like what's happening, what's changing.
yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I enjoy about YouTube as well. When I got into it, I started to see like, dang, you constantly learning off and on, like different things, new things, what you can do to change things. And I mean, sure, that's the one thing I really love about it. It's like, man, you're constantly learning. It's like, hey, today I learned this. Today I learned this other thing. I'm like, oh, okay, tomorrow what did I learn? So it's like,
Yeah,
man,
it's a definitely it's engaging mentally. You're right.
yeah, yeah, it really is. So yeah, that's a good answer. Yep. So let me see. Let's see. So, okay, this is a good one. I think we talked about this one. Which video game genre is your least favorite?
It would probably be probably first person shooters.
First person shooters? Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Um, I tend to be pretty open to games that as long as they have a good character or a good story, I'm kind of into it. But I will
okay,
say that those and like fighter games, they're not bad
okay,
genres by any means, but they tend to
okay,
not keep my interest as much. So I
okay,
tend to put them down.
okay. For me, it would have to be the Soul games. I'm terrible at those Soul games, like
So wrong.
like Securio, Elden Ring. I'm telling you, Aziza, it's been terrible. Like I will play those games and I'll be constantly dying. I'm just like, okay, where do I go from here? Like I'm every time I think I'm making it somewhere, I'm dying. I'm like, what the heck?
It is soul crushing sometimes because those defeats you be fighting for so long and then you lose and it's like I got nothing else in the tank for you today. I'm just gonna shut it down.
Yeah, the soul game's just not for me. I haven't made no progress with them secure. I'm still like at the beginning of the game. I haven't even made to the middle or the end, and I done seen people on Twitter and other places. I'm like, dang, how y'all get this far in the game? I'm struggling to get past the beginning.
And that one, Sekiro is not one of the ones that doesn't have the difficulty settings, right? Like it's you're playing what was intended and that's it, right?
Yeah, it's straight difficult. Yeah, yeah, that
Um,
and Elden Ring. Yeah, Elden Ring is too.
See, it breaks my heart a little because I wanted to try it, but yeah, you've got to be okay with grinding something for like 2 hours and potentially still dying, and that is hard.
And then you got to know how to block too with those games. You got to learn how to block, time attacks, all that.
Yeah, man. And some of the games, I can't remember which one I was playing, but I'm
Hmm.
used to like old like what do you call it? God of War. You start to like
Yeah,
recognize the patterns, and I
yeah,
swear with those games, the enemy will change its pattern. Like, what just happened? I
yeah.
was
That
on,
just happened, right?
and it just changes. So
Yeah,
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 I can understand. At
yeah.
least you
Those
can
games.
watch them. People do let's
Yeah,
play.
I just watch them on YouTube. I'm like, yo, I can't do this, but it's good seeing y'all get through this stuff. Yeah, I tried though. I was like, dang, I'm thinking secure. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get into it. I'm like, man, I'm stay dying. I get to the one boss, then I can't even get to the next boss. Then you keep reviving yourself. How many times you run out of that item? So then you pretty much dead.
Right? Yeah, that's. We'll see. I tried my first one, and I haven't picked it up since the first time because I
I
was
don't
like,
think
this
you're
is
going back, Aziza.
right now. It's funny because I kept they're not called VODs on YouTube, but I kept the stream up, and people have been finding it off of Google. It's one of the few videos I had that people find off Google. I think it's because I put easy mode on it. So I'm like, I'm not
Okay.
the only one out here struggling. It's for everybody because they're probably like,
Yeah.
how easy is easy mode? And the answer is not that easy if you're not
Not
so.
always, right. Depending on the game.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the soul games, yeah, I think I'm officially done with those. I don't think I can do no more with those.
man, zero judgment. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one genre. I'm like, people was telling me like, oh yeah, you need to play Sekiro and Elden Ring. Like, man, y'all hype this up a little bit too hard because I can't do nothing with this game.
Well, and that's the thing, right? If you get
Yeah,
stuck, you are stuck. Like
yeah.
that's it.
That's
And
like this in Elden Ring.
you're like seeing all this great stuff online that people can do, but I can't do it because I can't get past the guy with the horse. Like,
Oh man. So my next question is a good one. How do you feel about YouTube constantly evolving?
I like it. I think part of it is the
Okay.
fact that I'm new, so I don't have uh,
Okay.
a routine yet. I'm still learning, and I feel
Okay.
like a lot of the changes have been made for the better.
Yeah.
I feel like you're definitely, again, as a YouTube consumer, I definitely see like older videos being suggested, which I like because you made the video years ago doesn't mean it's not a good video anymore.
Video, right. Yeah.
And then I also feel like you see a lot more smaller channels being pushed, which is helpful, especially as someone who has a small channel. But even as someone who consumes, like, I don't always want to watch the same 4 or 5 people. I like discovering new content creators, and so I feel like those changes have been helping with that. So I like
Yeah.
the evolution so far.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. Whether it's, excuse me, YouTube Studio or just YouTube in general, I do like that it's constantly evolving. I remember when we early on with YouTube, where YouTube Studio wasn't really as equipped as it is now. You know what I'm saying? As an app, and now you can see your whole month, how you've done the whole month with your YouTube channel, what your weekly's been like, who's sharing it. They do trivia. How many people like who? How many people shared your video? How big is your audience? You know what I'm saying? Where is your audience coming from? How the gender? Who's watching it more? You know what I'm saying? So YouTube Studios, the plus about it. On top of that, YouTube is constantly evolving. I see the comments now look like a Reddit stream. You see
Yeah,
it now. Yeah, I was like, man, everything's changed. It's like, all right, 1 minute they're doing this. Then, like, even with 4 minute content, that's considered a short now. Isn't that crazy?
that is. Crazy. Interesting.
Yeah.
That one feels weird, but at the same time, I kind of get it because I
Yeah.
feel like you don't see as many ads when you do shorts, and
True.
so for a 5 minute content, 5 minutes worth of content, I don't want to have to
Yeah.
watch a 2 or a 30 second ad either. Because there's definitely times where YouTube's been like, I know I have like that much left of a video, and YouTube will put the ad in. I'm like, I'm done. So that's interesting. I
Yeah.
like that, but it is a different type of mentality. Because
Yeah. You know,
well, do you don't have any 4 minute videos, do you? Or
I do, but like, it kind of goes past the mark a little bit, so I wouldn't consider it a short. But it's still in the 4 minute range. Some of them, but just a little bit longer. But yeah,
interesting, yeah. Hmm.
yeah, yeah. But even with live stream is different on YouTube too. Like on regular YouTube with live streams, they still need to make some improvements with it though. I'm not gonna lie,
I agree. One of
it's
the because I tried to do one and it was like you had to schedule it to get a thumbnail. And I'm like, YouTube,
yep,
you know
yep,
thumbnails for Instagram. Like, why would this even need to be a thing? I should be able to have something on that I'm going live and have
right,
a thumbnail. And
right.
it shouldn't be my random like little profile picture. Like, come on now. That's
Yeah,
sabotage.
right. Yeah, I don't like the when you do the live streams, like they're your comments disappears on the YouTube live stream. Like that means you want to reply and you can't see it. It disappears. Like say for instance, somebody you like, hey, I like this, and then you go back to the comment section, like, dang, what? It vanished.
I was because you left me a video for one of my streams and I went to go
Right.
find it and I was like, I thought it was a me thing. So they do
No.
disappear.
Yeah. They
Interesting.
disappear. Yeah. I'm like, I don't like that because I can't see what that person said. You know what I'm saying? When I go back, it's like, what happened?
And then you want to engage with your audience, but if you miss something, you can't do it current or later. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an improvement they need to make. Take note, YouTube.
For real. Yeah, so yeah, YouTube has definitely been evolving. Like I said, even when you tag people and stuff now, I do like the new tag setup where you can tag a person. YouTube community tab, woo, man, that's a lot better than what it used to be.
I never saw the old version, but has it improved a lot?
Yeah, well now you can do like a poll on there. You could tag people on there. I think it was just you could just write things, you know what I'm saying, or just post your video. But it went through a small change, not a big change, but I hope they do a little bit more with it over time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I talked about the hype thing coming. I'm excited for that as well. To
yeah. So
see you being able to support your fellow creators and kind of like hype up their videos in the first 7 days. I was like, that's nice because if people
man,
like your content and they feel like you're not getting the traction, they can help you. It's not like
yeah,
it's
that's
all
kind of
algorithm.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
thought
is.
it was
That's
interesting they
definitely.
announced it, and then I was like, "Oh, it's not in the U.S. I guess they're just putting it."
We'll probably get it in the next month, probably so, or the end of this month.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool that they have that. It's like, dang, yeah, I didn't know it was like a cheer on support system. I mean, I usually when I do stuff, even this right here, I'll probably just post your channel link up and then your actual channel name. But yeah, I think that's a good idea though. What you mentioned, dang, that is kind
yeah,
of
I
cool.
like that a lot, and I need to do
Yeah.
better on making sure that I share my content. I was looking at, I think it was my threads, and I was like, I think I've published like 10 videos, and I've maybe put out one on my.
Yeah,
Because,
Threads is definitely helpful. I gotta admit, Threads has definitely become a place where you can find an audience at. Like I found a decent amount of people off of Threads as much as IG now. Like officially, like it's a lot more
nice.
people though. Yeah.
Yeah, IG's been wonky. I thought that was gonna be my go-to, and now it's like, go back to what you're doing before, because this isn't it.
I mean, every now and then you find some people here and there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, yeah. So yeah, Threads definitely is. It's a lot of. I think with IG, it's a little bit oversaturated with content creators because then you got the comedian content creators, you got the musician content creators, you got the activist content creators, you got the conspiracy theorist content creators, artists. movie buffs, comics as well, anime, different ones. So it's like you see different ones each time you go on the timeline. All right, today, all right, we got these right here. Then you go back, you're like, okay, here are some other ones. So it's a bit oversaturated, I
It is a
guess.
lot. And
Yeah.
it is, I feel like it's harder. Like you see the people that you are subscribed to, but then I feel like I've been lately seeing a lot of stuff that I'm not. And I'm confused. And that's what Facebook has become. I think it's one of the reasons why I don't use Facebook as much as I
I
used
don't
to.
use Facebook either.
Like, I did not subscribe to these 20 other people. Please stop. But yeah,
Yeah, Facebook. Yeah, I've been used. I think the last time I used Facebook, and this is man, I'm taking it back. This is story time right here. I was a part of a Facebook content creator group. I was in like three different ones, and it didn't get me nowhere.
that doesn't
After that,
totally surprise me.
yeah, after that, I was like, I'm done. Like, it was a lot of like people just showing favoritism in the one group I was in. The one group, the moderator just stopped my content from coming out. I was like, yo, like you said, this is a group we support one another. Other people posting videos like I am, but I'm getting stopped. And then I got kicked out of a group one for no crazy reason. Like I didn't cause no conflict or nothing. I'm like, all right, yeah, Facebook is not it for content creators.
It's really hard to find one. And then a lot of, again, your moderator really
Yeah.
matters on Facebook. There's quite a few groups that I've been in that were amazing, and the moderator either got busy or they stepped back, and it's like, oh, this is now a dumpster fire.
I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna go, but thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, the Facebook. Then when I was trying to promote it on Facebook, it seemed like people thought I was trying to scam. I'm like, I'm just showing you my YouTube channel. I ain't trying to scam. I get it that that's the era that we kind of in now, but no, I ain't doing none of
Yeah.
that.
And they bury your stuff. They bury it so hard, and you can't. What is it called? Blacklisted. I
Yeah,
think at one point I've actually been I can't or shadow banned. That's the word I'm
yeah,
thinking of.
shadow ban. Yep,
You can't
yeah.
get shadow banned on Facebook. I was part of a Kickstarter, and I think I was posting something like every week, and then all of a sudden, like no one could see my posts. Maybe one or two people, and that was it. And I was like, oh, this is what they mean by
Whoa.
shadow ban. Like I
Yeah,
didn't pay to
yeah,
have my content displayed, and I was too much. So now we're
yeah.
shutting you down completely. And I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
I was shadow banned on TikTok. I ain't been on TikTok since. Yeah, I've been shadow banned. I'm like, I'm done. And I was just posting my content. I wasn't doing nothing crazy, just posting the
It's so
content on there.
weird.
That was
Yeah,
it. Yeah. Stuff we go through, right?
right.
Yeah, so I was like, man, yeah, it's crazy how they shadow ban you for the craziest stuff.
Right.
So my next question is, what are some of your challenges that you face as a content creator?
I think for me, the hardest one has been technology. So figuring
Okay,
out how to make everything work. It's a lot more than I anticipated, to be honest. If
okay,
it's, putting on the camera and doing a talking head type of video, it's not as bad. But,
okay.
I think I've talked to you, I've had ridiculous amounts of issues with my capture cards.
Oh man.
So figuring out a capture card that works, figuring out how to fix videos and editing when thing
Yep.
has broken, and then
Right.
just getting that whole IT section of content creation kind of under control. It's
Okay.
been a lot more of a challenge than I was expecting.
Hmm.
Definitely one of
Okay.
the steepest learning curves, but yeah, that would probably be the most difficult part. I think the other thing would be since I'm learning, it's figuring out what advice is really true. There's so
Okay.
much stuff out there that tells you, you can grow it in 1,000, in 6 months, you can grow your
Yeah.
channel XYZ way. Um,
Right.
and then how to do it. I feel like a lot of YouTube advice is very much like be a chameleon, copy somebody else's stuff and make it yours. And I'm like, that's not what I would want to do. I don't feel like you would get a chance to really. I wouldn't enjoy it because I'm not doing what I love. I feel like
Okay.
I need to be, kind of in the center of what I'm doing because I'm doing it on my own, right? So this is what I do in my,
Right.
my free time. I have a
Right.
job that I fit this into. So
Right.
I think, yeah, figuring out what advice is really real, and then getting that IT portion up and running and smooth has kind of been like the two things I've focused on. I've struggled with the most.
Okay. Those are some good ones. Yeah. definitely. For me, me being a content creator that doesn't stick to one lane, I did experience that because it's like, well, he does story times, he does electronic reviews, he does this. It's like, well, why does he just stick to one lane? And it's like, man, it's so many layers to a person. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, I can do movies, TV shows, gaming, anime, Marvel, DC, Pixar, Disney. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to kind of keep it where I can do a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? Not just sticking to one content only. I think I'll be, people will be bored with it. I tried it though. I'm not gonna lie. I did story times where it was just like for 1 week and people stopped watching this stuff. People weren't really interested. I'm like, well, you guys said story times, but now you're tired of story time. So I kind of left that alone because I didn't want it to be a whole channel of story times. I'm like, well, there's certain things I don't want to make into a story time either. Certain stuff is like,
Right. You need that
oh.
separation of like your content versus because you do exist outside of your content. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense.
So that was one. The other one I would say too is it's like you said, advice, growing a channel. You got people that got these courses out here, how to get 1,000 subs. You got these people out here saying, if you take my class, you're guaranteed to reach 1,000 subs, and then there's another thing too that I saw, where people are paying for subscribers, and I feel like that's a little disgenuine, like just paying for subscribers in a way. I know a content creator. I'm not subscribed to them anymore, but this person's still struggling. They've monetized on YouTube, but they pay for subscribers, they pay for watch hours, and now they're stuck because you did these things. And the craziest thing, true story, Aziza, they asked me to say, do you think I should pay for these things? I said, no. Why pay for these when you can build your own audience up in your community? And them paying for it kind of ruined it because now you're struggling to get watch hours, views. I'm not even sure if they're still monetized or not, you know what I'm saying? Because you chose the easy route by going into these people that are, hey, we can get you this by 3,000 watch hours. We'll pay for this. And it's like, why?
Man.
So yeah,
Well, and I
I've
think
seen,
some people didn't realize that you could lose monetization. But I was
yeah,
like, there's a benchmark for a reason. If you're not hitting that benchmark every single time,
damn,
why do they
yeah,
keep you? Yeah, it's
yeah,
like being in sales. You have your quota, and if you don't meet your quota, you're out. That's very much how YouTube runs.
yeah,
So, yeah, I remember seeing a couple of videos. People were like, they took it away, and I'm like, yeah, if you don't
yeah,
meet
yeah,
your
they'll take it
quota,
away.
yeah.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Yeah, that advice part though is it's hard. It's hard to weed out what is genuine and good advice versus
Yeah, it is. And
someone
like
trying
I
to.
said, at the time, they had way more subscribers than me. So, I'm like, maybe they probably look like, you don't know what he's talking about.
Right.
And that's cool too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, hey, like, who is this guy? But I think it didn't work out because, like I said, they were struggling to still get views and stuff like that and subscribers. I'm like, I bet you wish you didn't didn't pay for that stuff.
Right.
And then my thing is too, these people, some of them are scamming people. Some of these people are SEOs. They
Yeah.
are scamming people too. So I'm like, I never fully trusted the idea of an SEO person or a promoter. I mean, I've heard some good stories too, by the way. Not just all bad, but most of the time they've been bad. But it's like, do you fully trust this person that you're giving your channel to make it to 3,000, 4,000 watch hours? Or are you just like, I'm desperate? You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah.
Yeah. Well, and then there's so much of it you can do for free, right? Like if you watch the,
Yeah,
I feel like that's kind of the green flag for me. It's like you're giving me all this information and you're telling me how to do it for free, and you're
right,
saying you can help me, but I can go and do what you're claiming you're gonna do, and it works for
right,
me. That's how I'm like,
right.
okay, you're legit. So I have like proof of purchase. All right, you're good.
Yeah,
Now I'll listen a
yeah.
bit more. But yeah,
And
paying
then,
for anything is kind of like, should I just
yeah,
grind it out?
yeah. And I know for a minute I thought about, like, it was a guy. He was a YouTuber. I don't know if he still is or not. That wanted me to, he didn't. He was like, yeah, I can do your thumbnails. And then I thought about saying, well, what if we fall out? You know what I'm saying? This is a what if scenario in the back of my mind. I'm like, we fall out there, you're just gonna be like, yo, I was making this thumbnails and seeing these right here, them all me. You know what I'm
Or
saying?
some people, it's worse. I know there was one lady, this is comic related, but she had a webtoon and she had
Yeah,
a fallout with her person who was posting her webtoon. And all of a sudden, they, with online, you can kind of hover and there's words that will pop up. It
yeah.
was all of these horrible things about
Wow.
her, about her work, just all types of stuff. And she, since she hadn't learned how to do it herself, couldn't
Yeah,
take it down. And I remember thinking that's the other part that's really scary. It's one thing to have the skill and give it to someone to do it quicker.
yeah,
The
yeah,
whole other thing to literally be at someone's mercy. And if something
yeah.
goes sideways, you're just like,
Yeah, yeah, I thought about that. Said, damn, if it don't work out, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be
yeah.
bad on my end. That's what I thought about too. I'm like, hey, you do sound good. And then one day, my subscribers, they was like, yo, you got to get better with the thumbnails. And I was kind of the cue or the red flags. Hey, there are some content creators that I've seen out there that they didn't do no thumbnail, just a picture. Got a decent
And you
amount of
do
views on it
wonderfully.
and do wonderful.
And then you're out
So
here,
I
designing your thumbnail for like 6 hours, and people are like,
was,
like, dang, okay, well,
yeah, this was like I
next
was
time.
amazed. I'm like, damn, I thought then YouTube Studio hold me. That's like, sir, you might want to get start doing thumbnails. This other idea that you're doing is not working.
Well, now don't they
So
have like AI generated thumbnails? Like they'll go through your
they
video
have
and
those
make them.
too. Yeah,
I
that was
haven't
like,
done them.
yeah, me either. Mm-mm. I
It is
heard
very
it's probably.
Is it good?
Well, I heard that that can ruin your YouTube in some way too. I forgot exactly what. Someone brought some information to me about it, and I was like, "Well, I don't never do AI." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Thumbnail. So yeah, it's pros and cons with that too. Yeah, I
yeah.
wouldn't
Well,
mess
AI
with
in
it.
general, it's like such hit or miss, and you just never know. It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. So that's definitely that was a good one too as well. So let me see. Okay, so the next question is, what are some of your goals for 2025 as a content creator?
I think my biggest goal is to really figure out my channel, figure
Okay,
out the routine, get it really solid. I think I've been doing a pretty decent job, but I have goals to bring in like live streaming. I wasn't live
okay,
streaming last year, but figuring out
okay.
how to do that routinely. I'm hoping to do it like on Mondays. Not sure if that's gonna work. But I'm really hoping to start connecting with my audience more, do those live streams, and then keep the routine going.
Okay.
Hopefully that will lead to like a growth in subscribers, a growth in being
Oh yeah.
able to connect with my audience. Because the community part is people don't talk about it as much, but it's a lot of fun when you meet
Yeah.
people that are into the same things as you. I think that's why threads thrive so well. It's so fun to be like,
True.
yeah,
True.
I love this thing. And all of a sudden you have like these 20, comments of everyone kind of geeking out with you. So
Right.
I really want to build that community and really connect with people, I think, a bit more this year. And I'm hoping, obviously, I'd love to be eventually a full-time creator.
Okay.
So you need the subscribers for that. You need the watch hours for that. So
Yeah.
that just kind of comes with the territory. But I'm hoping by doing things a bit more, I feel like genuinely and
Right.
putting my, putting my niche out there, but doing it in a way that feels comfortable for me, that feels genuinely to me, that I can connect
Right.
and grow.
Okay. Yeah, those are some good ones for sure. For me, I would say, man, that's a good one. I'm thinking, I'm gonna try to reach the 3,000 watch hours. I think this year, I'm pushing for it. I know last year, the end of the year, it was weird. I thought I was gonna reach it because I usually have like an end of the year goal. You know what I'm saying? Then I have my like month goal and then my like, maybe small like short term goals and a long term goal slash yearly goal. I didn't reach it. So I'm like, okay, well, I thought I was gonna reach it this year, but I didn't. But just to shoot for the 3,000 watch hours, I'm not trying to reach the 4,000. That's a bit much. When YouTube say, yo, you can do 3,000.
Yeah. Well, even the 500 subscribers, like that number still feels very far off for me. But I
Yeah.
think that got cut in half. It used to be 1,000 subscribers
Yeah,
to
it used to
even
be 1,000.
really.
I remember.
I'm
Yep,
like,
I remember. I remember that. I remember that. I said, boy, 1,000 used to be the thing. You're right. 1,000. Then they switched to 500. So yeah, you probably will reach 500 for sure. But like I said, yeah, 1,000. Yeah, it was a bit much. I'm like, dang, they said 1,000.
Yeah.
And I remember when I reached 1,000 for the first time, it was like up and down for a minute. But like, hey, you're back at 999. You know, nine this. And it's like, oh, come on. Then that one day I knew I reached it. I'm not gonna lie. I seen the letter like, yeah, you reached 1,000 subscribers.
Nice.
Yes. Finally. It took
Right.
like maybe like a few weeks, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it was like fluctuating up and down and stuff like that. I guess my other goal is just to work with other content creators. I don't know what's been going on with YouTube. I've been trying to work with new people and even, sometimes returning people as well. I know I'm pretty sure I'll get somebody that will end up returning as well. I know a few people have interest in it and ask, like, yo, are you going to be doing this again? I'm like, yeah. So just working with other content creators within the lane, whether they do the same type of content as I do, or if they don't, that's fine too. So that and just I got another podcast idea. Just
Nice.
yeah, I just haven't really figured out who yet. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, Marvel, DC, anime, gaming, music. That's kind of where I'm going with it. But the person I had in mind just I don't know. Like I thought they inboxed me. I'm thinking like, oh yeah, they about to say yeah, let's do it. Then when I reach out, I'm like, nah. They asking about something else. I'm like, nah, you gotta be kidding me. So,
It's
uh,
hard. But if you find the
yeah,
right person, it's gonna be perfect. So
yeah, yeah.
best
So
of
I was
luck.
like,
Yeah. If
yeah.
I think
So
of anyone, I'll send them your way.
okay, yeah. So I said, well, it is what it is. But yeah, just trying to reach the 3,000 watch hours. I said collaborating with more people on here, try to get back into doing this again, the content creator seat. But yeah, that's about it
Well, thank
on
you for
that.
having me.
Oh, I got one more question. Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good. Okay, so give me a sec. Oh. Okay, so this is the last question. What is something you want to be remembered for as a content creator?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think it would be great to be remembered as someone who helped someone.
Okay.
I have the entertainment part of like the gaming, but I
Right.
also do the instructional stuff. And
Okay.
it's been nice to see some of the comments because you're not the only one out here struggling. You're
Right.
trying to learn things. But
Yeah.
it's great to know that people are hearing your content and learning something from it. So I
Okay.
do hope that people who see especially my comic creation stuff, feel seen, feel heard, and feel helped. That would be awesome.
Okay. That's a good way to go about it for sure. I mean, I know some people say I inspired them to want to do a content creator thing. I'm like, yo, just go for it. What I'm saying? If I can inspire other people, like I said, I started off, I didn't have an easy, way of doing things. I had to figure out as I go. Like I said, I started with just my LG phone that I had at the time, and the quality wasn't that great. You know what I'm saying? But over time, I just started investing into different things, just changed the setup. As you can see, this is a whole new setup I got right here. And just growing, helping people learn from my content, like some of the stuff, the things I'm learning as I go when I make my content sometimes. So that's the good thing about it as well. And like I said, helping out other content creators too. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing that as well. You know what I'm saying? People ask me about things, and I'm like, hey, look, even if it's not the greatest advice, it's like, hey, look, it's up to you. If you want to take it, cool. If you don't, I understand. But yeah, like I said, it's definitely been something that I enjoy doing. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully I'll be able to monetize off of it and do great things with it. So yeah, yeah.
Yes, monetization in both of our futures.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, that was it. I just want to say thanks, Aziza, for wanting to do it, man. I ain't gonna lie, I was like, man, other people kind of just backed out. I'm like, I hope the same.
Look, it's too funny because the
Yeah.
this is my birthday month. I've been like celebrating, and then I get sick, and then I would
Ah man.
basically, go into like
Yeah.
a blanket fort. And so this week, I was kind of sick on Monday, and I was like, okay, I know I have this interview on Sunday. I promised Ill I was gonna be here. But this week we are taking it easy. We're getting
Okay.
juice. You're getting rested.
Right. Well, I'm
You're
glad that you.
showing up.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, I've been looking forward to this. This was a lot of fun, and I
Yeah. It
appreciate
was.
you inviting me.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, if you want to do it again, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Or if you got some other idea of a collaboration or something, hey, I'm all for it.
I'll keep you in mind. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. So yeah, but this is it, guys. First episode of this year, 2025, guys. Like I said, I'll leave the link up for Aziza's channel so you guys can go check her out as well. Not just my channel or anything like that. But yeah, thanks again for like I said, being the first person for this year. And like I said, guys, hopefully I have another episode maybe in the next month. Hopefully,
Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed, right? But thanks again, guys, and thanks again, Aziza. Yeah,
My
have a good one.
pleasure.
All right, bye bye.